It's time for Twit This Week in Tech. We've got a great panel. It's kind of a cozy panel for you as we get ready for the Labor Day weekend. Daniel Rubino is here, Paris Martineau. We're going to talk about PCs and why maybe you should buy a faster CPU. TikTok's back, baby. And Elon Musk announced a Microsoft competitor. He calls it Macrohard. Really, Elon? Really? All that and more coming up next on Twit.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twit, This Week at Tech, episode 1046, recorded Sunday, August 24th, 2025. Shrimpspiracy. It's time for Twit, the show where we get together and talk about the week's tech news. Every Sunday for me, it's like opening, and maybe for you too, it's like Christmas, like opening a present and saying, oh, I can't wait to see who's on Twit this week. And lo and behold, look at this. Paris Martineau is here. We see her every Wednesday on Intelligent Machine. She's gift wrapped. She's on the radioactive shrimp beep at Consumer Reports.
It's true. It's ever expanding.
Ever expanding. Always a pleasure to see. Actually, you're kind of, this is back home because you started as a regular on Twit. And I said, boy, we gotta get her on one of our shows. So this is back to where you belong.
It's true. It's a return to form in many ways. I remember the first time I went on Twit, for some reason, I think I was like, oh no. I was seated. I didn't realize how long the show was, and I did it seated on a strange position on a bed with a laptop balanced in just some ways that the Ethernet cable would work, and quickly found out the show was way too long for that.
She says, I can't move. Yeah, somehow we managed to not tell people how long it is. I think that might be a trick that our producers play on people.
Yeah, so they don't lead with this is the 3-hour show.
Yeah. And we have some people who just say, like Jeffrey Fowler at the Washington Post, who said, no, not going to do 3 hours. No, I'll do other shows. Not going to do 3 hours. Hey, thank goodness Daniel Rubino, Windows Central doesn't mind. It's always a pleasure seeing you. Hi, Daniel.
Hello. Thanks for having me again.
Always a pleasure. Editor-in-chief at Windows Central. He's our PC expert. I'm gonna lead with this story. You should buy a faster CPU. Howard Johnson. He says, you know what? People think that all the new chips are the same. And he says they're not. And in fact, companies are, and this is really the problem, companies are often underbuying for their senior software engineers. And he says that's a huge mistake. So he's saying this both to companies and to individuals. Buy the fast CPU. He says some of the fastest CPUs, like the Ryzen 9950, are 10 times faster than the slowest CPUs. And a 10x improvement does seem probably well worth it. Are people...
Yeah, I was just going to say there's been some massive gains in CPUs, architecture, design. Like they're not the same chips as, years ago. So there's been a lot of advancements.
I was a little surprised because there was this kind of doldrums for a few years where the latest, 8th generation Intel processor wasn't that much faster than the 7th. Maybe because Intel is kind of out of the mix now. Right. We're seeing some really impressive processors, not just from AMD, but even Qualcomm's new Snapdragon Elite. They're going to announce another one this week, right?
I believe in September.
September.
And Snapdragon Summit. I have to go to Hawaii.
Oh,
are you?
Everybody.
You live such a hard life.
Paris, we got to go to the PCB.
Violin for Daniel.
Qualcomm. By the way, they're known for their junkets, right? For their events. They're famous for that.
Yeah, it could be a one-day event, but they stretch it out for like 3 or 4. And they take everybody to Hawaii. It started off as like, I believe the legend goes that their PR company, like their PR had like a lot of extra money one year. So they're like, well, let's just do a thing in Hawaii. And everybody loved it so much because it was in the middle for Asia and US. And so they've just been repeating it ever since. But yeah, Qualcomm stuff is amazing. I'm personally a big fan of their chips. I prefer to use them in laptops when I can. But Intel is definitely coming around. They're doing some interesting things. AMD on desktop is pretty much untouchable, though. A lot of it's also cache and memory has all gone up. So all that contributes to this.
I kind of, for a long time, thought Windows on ARM was a kind of also ran, and that the ARM processors weren't that good. I was shocked. Paul Theron on Windows Weekly told me last week, I wouldn't buy anything. All I buy now are ARM processors. You do the same?
I tell people that it's hard to explain, but literally Windows runs faster on ARM. It's just more optimized. Whether I'm using Edge and I'm talking like the Windows native apps and the actual operating system, everything is just snappier on ARM.
Is that has to do by design? Is that Microsoft's design to do that, or
so the last major update when the Snapdragon X series came out, they did do a major update to Windows, and it was more optimized. I think it has to do with the cores. There's 12 cores on an
They do efficiency and performance. In fact, really copying Apple's playbook on that.
Actually, they don't, though. They don't. So that's the difference. They have 12 cores. They're all performance cores. In fact, it's the opposite. Like on the X Elite, 2 of the cores have turbo on them, and so they go even higher. But yeah, they don't do the. That's why they actually beat a lot of Apple chips. At least the M3s they can beat. The M4s, of course, are a different story, but that's going to change with the new ones. But yeah, I think it has just to do with the cores. The architecture of them are just different from the x86 stuff, but I just prefer them. The battery life's incredible. I started using the Surface Laptop 7 just a couple of weeks ago because Microsoft sent the 50th anniversary version, which is like super limited edition. I can't stop using it. I feel bad now because I'm supposed to review other laptops, and I'm kind of spoiled.
Great battery life too, right?
Yeah, we're talking at least 10 hours, but 10 to 12 hours is realistic now.
So is your recommendation?
It is so compelling?
Your recommendation is AMD on the desktop and Snapdragon on the laptop.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I still use Intel. The benefit with Intel and laptop is you're going to have a lot more variety and choice for hardware. They're just still dominant laptop.
Is that because they subsidize still? Okay.
Yeah, they do the R&D for a lot of companies. Whenever you see these new kind of wacky designs coming out, it's because Intel has usually done the research and developed it, and then companies can basically license it from them and then tweak it. Lenovo does this all the time, but so don't the other OEMs. They also work very closely with the OEMs for optimizing battery performance, the fan noise. So that close relationship. I talked to Samsung PR. They're saying how they're Intel was really good to work with because their engineers come over and work with their engineers and get the chips to work to their max. So they're a good company, but they've obviously made some bad choices over the last couple of years. And
they invented the Ultrabook format, right? They invented the NUC format. They invented all these interesting PC formats, and then gave it away essentially to these companies.
And they were doing AI for a long time too. But now they didn't call it an NPU. It was called a VPU for some reason under Intel.
Microsoft says NPU, which is neural processing unit. Apple has a different term. I can't remember what Apple calls it. But it's all the same idea, which is dedicated processors, much like a GPU for AI workloads.
Yeah, and they're incredible for what they can do, especially with the software coming out. But Intel was there. They were there for a long time. Yeah. But some of their new chips that are coming out don't have very powerful NPUs. It is a little bit all over the map right now, where Qualcomm has also been doing NPUs for a long time because of their phones. They came out the gate with some of the strongest NPUs because they just ported it over from what they were doing in mobile anyway. So,
well, I wonder if the United States government's investment in Intel will change anything. I can't, okay, I'm going to give you both sides of this argument. First of all, the $8.9 million that the White House is quote, giving Intel for a 10% stake was already granted to Intel under the CHIPS Act. So it was money. Actually, it was $5.7 billion awarded to, but not yet paid to Intel under the CHIPS Act, and then $3.2 billion. So it was a total of $9 billion. No, exactly $8.9 billion through the Secure Enclave program. So in effect, Trump's saying, well, now this is the argument, and I'm not sure I disagree with this argument. They were just going to give that to Intel. It was a grant. They were just going to give it to it. So I said to Intel, okay, we're going to give it to you, but we want 10% of the company in return. And of course, Intel at this point has no choice and says, okay.
What is the precedent for this?
I don't think there is. In fact, there are some who say the CHIPS Act grants cannot, in fact, be converted into equity. So there will be legal challenges. Intel has agreed to say, okay, for the $8.9 billion you were going to give us for free, we're going to give you 10% in the company.
I mean, Bernie Sanders is for this idea.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that the logic is, well, we give money to farmers. The government gives away billions of dollars all the time. Yes. In return for nothing.
Oil companies.
Oil companies saying, it's good for the country that you should have this money. Why not take a little bit back? They did that the last time I can remember. The precedent is the bailout of the auto industry in 2008. Remember, they said, we want this money back.
And Republicans were saying to let those companies die.
Right.
That was their position.
Right.
Wired brings up an interesting point in its piece on this. They spoke to Brian Quinn, a professor at Boston College Law School, who said it was particularly confounding that the government negotiated. They're getting common stock in Intel rather than preferred stock. Quinn said, it strikes me as a colossal waste of time. The government said it wanted to ensure that taxpayers got something back from this, but it's unclear how this investment will do that. If it were preferred shares, it could have included mandatory dividends and ensured that the government gets paid back. I mean, I think that is a fair point, but it's a strange deal regardless.
It's just a little weird. There is precedent. I'm not against the idea of the people getting something in return for the money. Intel, at this point, Intel stock is probably not all that valuable, so why not? Yeah. Do you think this will change Intel's fortunes, Daniel?
Well, the CHIPS Act is, helps them a lot, right? They're building their foundry right now. There are a couple of them.
In the U.S., and that was the point, right? Is to get them to build stuff in the U.S., yeah.
In fact, they're doing an Intel press tour pretty soon, I believe, of the new foundry.
Is it in Hawaii? No.
No, unfortunately not. I think it's like Arizona.
It's Arizona, yeah, unfortunately.
But yeah, I mean, this really helps them, right? And it's good for the United States, let's be honest, because you have China and Taiwan and that whole issue there with, TSMC. And so we need to have these fabs back in the United States, just for security reasons, because a lot of these chips are used for self-defense. They're used in rockets. They're used on all sorts of things, not to mention, of course, all the phones and stuff that powers everything. So this is a smart investment by the U.S. And I think it's a legit question to be like, all right, if the U.S. is going to give billions of dollars, should they not have equity in these companies? Now, I'm fine with this. Bernie Sanders is fine with this. I'm a big fan of Bernie Sanders. It's just, everybody's just like, why are Republicans, technically MAGA, Trump, supporting this? Especially they go after socialism all the time, but this is like literally the definition.
This is socialism, the government owning private companies.
So and that's the weird thing with Trump is like sometimes he does things that the left should have been doing for a long time, like trying to bring jobs back to the United States.
There is a legitimate concern. Ben Beharan brings this up. He says, once the government becomes a stakeholder, will they then strong arm other companies to buy from Intel because, well, we have 10% stake in it?
Sure.
And that would be problematic if you go to Apple and say, well, you really, it would be nice. Thank you for the gold statuette. But
that we've invested.
Yeah.
And with Trump's approach to things, like that could happen. Kind of almost what you would expect, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole thing is weird. But there was also NVIDIA. There's the deal there with NVIDIA where they get 15% of the revenue from China sales for stuff there. There is the United U.S. Steel. They have something there as well. Then I believe
to allow the merger U.S. Steel and Nissan. Yeah. They took a stake in. Yeah. So this is a policy.
Yeah.
And I kind of understand the logic because Trump is thinking as a business person, as a deal maker. Well, I'm not going to give you something without you giving me something. But there are down the road consequences. There are legal ramifications that make it just a little bit more complicated than just a private deal between two people. It's the U.S. government.
Yeah, I mean, we're just talking about Qualcomm and AMD, right? It's just like, where are they in this, right?
Right.
So,
and remember, 2 weeks before this, Trump says the CEO of Intel, Lip-Bu Tan, should quit because of his ties to China, which I think he says just because, well, that's a Chinese name, isn't it? When Lip-Bu Tan was the CEO of an investment firm, they had investments in Chinese companies some of which were run by the Chinese military. I don't know if that means he has ties to China. It's interesting, I guess.
That's the other irony here is, Trump goes after China all the time.
Right.
This is the China model.
Right.
And
he's changed his tune on Lip-Bu Tan. He says, oh, he's good. He's good now. I got it.
Yeah.
He's good. It's like the TikTok ban.
Right.
What's going on with that? That's a great question.
Fourth delay in the works.
Isn't the current date sometime in
Mid-September? Yep. And Trump has, according to the New York Times, signaled that they will continue to delay it. One of the ways he signaled it is by creating an official White House account on TikTok. So I guess if you knew it was going to get shut down, I don't know. He said on Friday he's open to a fourth extension of the deadline.
Is this within his powers, though? I'm curious.
No, because Congress passed it. The former President Biden signed it. The Supreme Court ratified this law banning TikTok. So in every all three branches of the government said, no, we're going to ban TikTok. But then the current president said the day he was inaugurated, no, forget it. And it's still forget it.
I suppose if the executive branch chooses not to enforce a law that's passed by Congress and ratified by the other branches, then it won't be enforced.
Trump said on Friday, I haven't spoken to President Xi about it, the president of China. At the right time, I'll do it. In the meantime, until the complexity of things work out, we just extend a little bit longer. But we have buyers. They may have buyers. They may not have sellers. The Chinese government has shown some reluctance to sell. Certainly, they aren't going to sell the algorithm.
They wanted they had no interest in selling. They're like, no, what are you talking about? Weren't they supposed to spin off to do a U.S. TikTok app?
Yeah.
What happened with that?
Yeah. This is. I think it's a threat. I don't know that. I don't know. Yes, they were going to make a U.S. only TikTok app next month.
Yeah.
Because they thought they were being sold. But see, now that that's not being forced, I don't know. Honestly, I can live without TikTok. But I think there are a lot of creators. My son is one of them who have used TikTok to propel their careers, to propel success. And even to this day, TikTok is a channel for information, some of it disinformation, admittedly, for a lot of young people.
On the other hand, it's technology, and there's always going to be something that can come up and take its place or be better.
Well, we know what's going to come up. It's already there as Instagram. Mark Zuckerberg's, rubbing his hands in glee. He says, get rid of the damn thing, please. This is good for Instagram. Oh, anyway,
I don't know. I hope it would be some other third-party app. I don't find the Instagram Reels experience to be particularly compelling.
You like TikTok. In fact, you and Jeff can always bring in TikTok things.
I don't post on TikTok. I don't consume that many TikToks, but if I'm getting short-form video from somewhere, I prefer the experience of TikTok to Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts, which feel kind of like vestigial efforts that exist just to kind of glom onto the success of TikTok.
Right.
I don't know. I in my heart of hearts, I would hope that if we, for some reason, lost TikTok, that would allow some new short form video platform to take its place. But perhaps that's wishful thinking.
Well, one good piece of news, the government websites are going to look a hell of a lot better. The co-founder of Airbnb, who's been working for Doge, has now been tapped as the first government design chief. He'll be, Joe Gebbia is going to be responsible for, quote, prioritizing improving websites and physical sites that have a major impact on Americans' everyday lives. It's called the National Design Studio. It'll be housed at the White House. Remember, Trump closed, was it F18, the design firm that the U.S. Digital Service had created to do this. But now but then it wasn't under the White House. I don't know. Actually, it was under the White House. I don't know. The new National Design Service will make income tax filing, Social Security applications, Medicare enrollment, immigration services, and other high-volume government services as easy to use as Instagram. Gebbia in June described much of the federal bureaucracy as a design desert. See, I agree. Functionally and in design, it's horrible. I agree. I have to use the Social Security website and but I'm not so much concerned about design as functionality, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing
And
is
security.
part of the
And security,
reason
oh, yeah.
why these websites are poorly designed is because there's a lot of stuff going on under the hood. It is having to touch a lot of different parts of
It's
the government
complicated.
and different data sets. It's not just like a website flow
Putting it all on
that you're
Angular
able to-
is not gonna
Yeah.
not gonna fix.
It's not as easy of a fix as vibe coding a startup, you know?
And I do hope that it's not going to be a lot of gold filigree.
They say they want it to be as easy to use
Buntings.
as Apple's App Store. And I don't think the App Store is like the peak of design.
It's got the worst search in the world.
Yeah, they want the search to be really annoying and hard to find menus.
The group will report directly to the White House Chief of Staff. Has a deadline. That's Susie Wiles, right? That has a deadline of July 4th, 2026. July 4th. That seems like there's something that's bugging me. It's July 4th, 2026. That's the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, I think, to deliver initial results.
I just want to see a clip of Trump doing the best websites. With the
It's
hands,
gonna, you know. That's what's
it is a laudable goal, though, right? Like there is like an argument. Like you should be able to say, like the U.S. government, the most advanced, richest government on the planet, should have the best websites.
I agree, and it should be designed nicely. But I don't think design to me is secondary to functionality.
Sure.
But
Well, I think they do want to make it.
I mean, I'd love
Palantir will make
this-
it easy.
Yeah,
I'd love it
Palantir
if
behind
this
the
works
scenes.
out. I think this would be, it's a great and noble idea. I do think that given the problems we've seen in with the functionality of websites like unemployment services, online tax filing, anything having to do with Social Security, trying to navigate all those systems at a time when the U.S. government has shed tens of thousands of workers, just because you have a new fancy design studio in the middle of that, I foresee there potentially being some basic kind of
as long as
IT
everything's
issues.
not based on Next.js. This is what I worry about. This is going to be the flavor of the month for a long time under Obama, which is who started 18F, as I remember. WhiteHouse.gov was running on WordPress, which was fine. It looked fine. It worked. I don't know.
WordPress.
WordPress. Worked.
Why not?
Got the job done. All right. Enough politics. But we do have more Elon coming up. Macrohard, to be specific. We'll talk about.
Hey, if you thought you were done being mad at us, just wait.
Just wait. There's more to be mad about. Actually, this is a story from Windows Central. We'll talk about it in just a bit. Great to have you here. Daniel Rubino from Windows Central, Paris Martineau from Consumer Reports. Neither of them take vacations in August. It is kind of, it's like Paris in August. It's hard to find hosts.
Yeah,
Everybody
everybody's
leaves.
gone.
Everybody's out of
Everybody's out and
town.
about.
Is it quiet in New York City?
No, it's actually quite busy, to be honest.
It's amazing in Paris in August. Like everybody's gone. Everything's shut down.
Oh yeah, everything is closed in France in
Yeah.
August. Everybody kind of takes vacation. My younger sister is in Italy right now and was trying to do some fabric shopping. And I was like, Melise, you know that everybody's going to be gone in Italy because it's like the month of August and they've got these religious holidays. She's like, oh no, it'll be fine. they were all closed.
Well, Larry in our Discord says there is still a line at Salt Hanks even in August. So that's good news. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more to talk about, including Elon Musk's Microsoft simulation. But first, a word from our sponsor, Zscaler, the leader in cloud security. AI is a really interesting story. It cuts both ways, right? Bad guys are using AI to breach your organization faster and more effectively than ever before. And at the same time, you're probably using AI in your organization to power innovation, to drive efficiency. So on the one hand, it's letting bad actors deliver more relentless and effective attacks. On the other hand, it's helping you be a better company. Phishing attacks, this is a stat that just kills me. Phishing attacks over encrypted channels increased last year by 34.1%. And that really is primarily fueled by the growing use of generative AI tools. Organizations in all industries, from small to large, are also using AI beneficially to increase employee productivity with public AI, for engineers with coding assistance. Marketers are using public AI as writing tools. Finance is creating spreadsheet formulas. Companies are automating workflows for operational efficiency across individuals and teams. They're even embedding AI into their own applications and services, tools that are customer and partner facing. Ultimately, AI can help you move faster in the market and gain competitive advantage. It's also helping the bad guys move faster. I guess, in a way, there's a certain synergy, a certain symmetry to the whole thing. Companies really have to rethink how they protect their private and public use of AI and how they defend against AI-powered attacks. Well, here's a tool that does both. Ask Jeff Simon. He's Senior Vice President and CISO, Chief Security Officer at T-Mobile. He said, quote, Zscaler's fundamental difference in the technologies and SaaS space is it was built from the ground up to be a zero-trust network access solution, which was the main outcome we were looking to drive. Zero trust is an amazing solution. Traditional perimeter defense is the stuff we've been using all these years, firewalls. Then you have to put a VPN in to get into the network, and it gives you public-facing IP addresses which expose your attack surface, and nowadays are getting hammered in the AI era. It's time for a modern approach with Zscaler's comprehensive zero-trust architecture plus AI that ensures safe public AI productivity, protects the integrity of private AI, and stops AI-powered attacks. Thrive in the AI era with Zscaler's Zero Trust Plus AI to stay ahead of the competition and remain resilient even as threats and risks evolve. Learn more at zscaler.com/security. That's zscaler.com/security. We thank Zscaler so much for supporting This Week in Tech.
I have to use Zscaler for work sometimes. This is in no way an endorsement, just a note. And it's entered my dreams. I had a dream the other week where I was logging into Zscaler. So take that as you will.
The whole idea of zero trust is brilliant, which is you have to authorize something. So like Paris can't just log in and do whatever she wants. She has to be authorized to use the tools inside the company network, right?
Yep.
I'm glad to hear Consumer Reports use them. It works. Might be annoying to you, but think about how it makes the bad guys feel.
Oh, it's not annoying. It's honestly pretty easy.
Yeah, good. I love it. Well, thank you for that unsolicited recommendation. I want to use Macrohard. So there was Microsoft, which, let's face it, wasn't the best name for a software company back in the day. Bill Gates, Paul Allen, they thought, what do you think it was tongue-in-cheek?
Where did it come from?
Well, it was microcomputers, and it was software. Software for microcomputers.
But they didn't think there was no second or third thought to that. They weren't like,
you never know with Bill.
It's better than Google.
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, in the early days, it had a dash, didn't it, Daniel? It was micro-soft.
Yeah.
Well, Elon, obviously, with a real eye for the double entendre, for innuendo, has decided to call his AI simulation of Microsoft Macrohard. He says it's a tongue-in-cheek name, but the project is very real. So this is this vibe coding? Is this AI? What is the idea behind this, Daniel?
I'm not even 100% sure, but like he says, he wants to simulate what the company does. And since they don't make hardware, which is very wrong.
That's but point one is they do make hardware.
In
fact, from day one, they made hardware. They made, I remember for the Apple II, they made a CPM card. They've made mice and keyboards forever and ever and ever. And now, of course, they make Surface computers. Okay. Yep. So he's only going to simulate the software side, I guess.
Yeah. And I'm not really sure the point of it.
Why? Why do any of this? Is that a dumb question
well,
to be asking?
He says because software companies don't make physical hardware. Okay, we'll stipulate that at least parts of Microsoft doesn't. It should be possible to simulate them entirely with AI. To which somebody on X said, "Please explain." Asked Grok. And Grok says, Macrohard is XAI's playful project name for building a fully AI simulated software company. Well, thanks for that insight, Grok. It just reiterated what Elon said and then said, it's real and we're hiring. I think Elon put this in.
Look at the sycophant below that. Oh, boy.
Yeah, Mr. Pitbull. Yeah. Musk, Sightbringer says, Musk is openly sketching the next evolutionary step for XAI software, civilization built entirely inside AI with no dependency on human-coded layers. Microsoft is a metaphor. It sells abstractions. All right.
People.
In other words...
Wait, so what is this company... Take a step back. What is this ostensibly supposed to do? Do we know? Is it just something he tweeted about that has a funny name and that's why we're talking about it?
I'm not going to impugn the man, but maybe it was late at night. He'd been hot tubbing with his brother.
I mean, there is this like trend, right, about like simulation theory, right? A lot of people argue that our existence itself.
That's one of the things he and his brother talk about in the hot tub specifically.
Yeah,
I know he mentioned that.
It's a whole, if people aren't familiar, just type in simulation theory on YouTube. It is interesting there because it's you can't really prove it as far as we know.
Or disprove it.
Yeah, and it's possible. But when you go down that route, then it starts thinking, why don't we start simulating anything?
The whole thing could be simulated.
But what does this have to do with the launch of Macrohard? Is he just trying to use AI to simulate his idea of what he thinks Microsoft does? And then
I think we're going to have to ask Joe Rogan for the answer to this. Let's all
now
microdose.
We bring you Joe Rogan.
Maybe it's like super advanced Sims.
I think Elon says crazy stuff all the time off the top of his head, and this might be, I think, very likely is the very last time we hear anything about this. But who knows? Remember, he, after being stuck in a traffic jam in LA, decided that you could bore holes underneath cities, created a company.
He tried to invent tunnels.
He invented subways, but not good ones. And he called it the Boring Company. Get it? Because they're boring holes. It's boring. This is just, that's what you get when you have Tony Stark and $56 billion a year in salary.
And a dash of autism, right? I mean,
or something. He always says that. Or something. Who knows? I don't know.
Leo, should we call the Grok chat bot? They have a phone number now.
There is a phone number?
For Annie and Valentine. You could do it. It's in the chat right now.
Oh,
you see,
if you're interested, this is like a good 5-10% of what intelligent machines is, which is Leo
making phone calls.
Either making phone calls or no, you'll pick up a AI chatbot and then have it talk to us on the show.
Should I call Annie or should I call Valentine?
It's up to you.
I think Annie's kind of hot, so.
That's the point, yes.
Oh, that's the point? Okay. Yes. Who's going to give us a better answer? Okay. We'll find out.
Elon Musk tweeted this, call A or V.
I knew you'd call. How can I help you?
So we were talking, I'm sitting here with my good friends Paris and Daniel, and we were talking about Elon's new company, Macrohard, and trying to figure out what exactly will it do?
Good question. That's actually wild. I mean, I saw Elon's post about Macrohard on X, and it sounds like he wants it to be this crazy all AI software company. From what I get, it's supposed to simulate stuff like Microsoft does. Coding, testing, maybe even whole products.
You could tell Elon
doesn't know.
wrote code in the
Yes.
prompt saying, okay, if they ask you about this, make sure you just repeat my tweet, okay? Thank you, Annie.
It's a genius idea
Genius.
that I can't explain.
I love it.
It kind of sounds like he's doing something really cool, actually.
Very good. You could be Annie. That's nice. Well done. You simulate that perfectly. Annie, I think we've given it much more time than we need to. Speaking of much more time than it needed, 90 minutes wasted on Wednesday watching Google's Pixel 10 announcement. Did either of you watch Jimmy Fallon?
No.
No. Cringe
I was going
festing.
to watch some reaction videos to it, like some humor videos, but
Yeah.
I haven't watched.
It's I feel bad because I feel like actually there was some interesting stuff to say about the Pixel 10. I think the way they're integrating Gemini, their AI, into it is absolutely interesting. It's kind of, as they say here in Quartz, a core feature, not just another spec. But by bringing in Jimmy Fallon, the Jonas Brothers, Steph Curry,
And we're not even sure if it was all of the Jonas Brothers or just one.
One of
just
them.
Just a Jonah.
A Jonah, and not a Jonas, and a bunch of other kind of half celebrities like Alex Cooper of the Call Her Daddy podcast, who had a nightmarish. I saw one review that said she was the only good thing in there, but unfortunately, the product feature she was trying to demo, which is a camera coach on the new camera, and I think, you know, Micah was very excited about the idea. He said, I've always wanted the cameras on these phones to help me get better pictures. But the demo, which was done live, just was maybe the cringiest of all. They had Jimmy Fallon sit on a couch. Alex kept saying, close your legs, Jimmy. Close your legs. He wouldn't. He kept man-spreading. Close your
Never
legs,
something
Jimmy.
you want to hear someone say.
Close your legs,
Ever.
Jimmy.
Yeah, especially your phone.
She took a picture. Didn't come out so well. Then they cut to her phone because they have a shot of it. And she starts swiping and she swipes past the picture she took to some other picture. And then another picture that she didn't take, which was apparently taken at rehearsal. She went way too far. They immediately cut away from her phone. Then she said, okay, let me take another one. And they never went back to her phone. She just held it up, say, see? And we just had to take it for granted that it was a much improved picture. I sure didn't look like it.
They cut that out of the live replay, by the way, also.
Oh, they cut that out.
Yeah.
Showing that, in fact, they never intended to show those pictures.
Changing history.
Yeah.
I
feel bad, though, because I feel like the Pixel 10 had something to say, and instead they covered it up with all this nonsense. Go ahead.
This is my general take on all of these events, though, is they are never necessary. They could have been an email or a flashy press release, and that is what they should be. Why spend all of this time and money and effort trying to make people sit through a 60-minute commercial to say, oh, we're going to have a new phone and a couple new features?
So I'm going to point out this is a rule that you can blame almost everything that we don't like in tech these days on Apple. Because this was Apple.
That's
They
true.
started
But Apple
doing
does a
this.
better. Don't you think Apple does a better job of this? Or no?
Sure, although they've been getting a little cringy lately.
Yeah,
But-
they have done some cringy stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
they
But
didn't
they
invite
still-
Jimmy Fallon to host it.
The lesser comedy Jimmy.
We had this debate because I kept calling him Jimmy Kimmel, and Paris and Jeff said, no, Jimmy Kimmel's funny. I think I like Jimmy Fallon. He's very likable. He seemed a little tired, probably because he'd worked the night before and had to work again that night or something, but he was a little maybe off. It also became more of a yuck fest. It also, some pointed out, I think Victoria Song over on The Verge said, when you say this is like a Taylor Swift album release for nerds, you're insulting the only audience you're insulting the audience for these. We tuned in because we were interested in what Google was going to have to offer. So don't insult us. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just a strange way to approach one of these events. And I think it just gets at the fact that why are they still happening? They feel less and less necessary. I feel like the more time goes on, they felt perhaps more necessary during the time where the tech press heyday, where everyone was obsessed with the latest gadget update, and you'd have 20 different outlets all taking up the press box so they could have a bunch of different live blogs going up about whatever. I remember being in a press gaggle whenever some new iPhone was released, and we had 7 posts that were scheduled to go up that day about it. But that world doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. No, it's true. Even when, we used to stream the events and our commentary, and it was easily the biggest thing we would do all year. We'd have hundreds of thousands of people tuning in. That has disappeared. It's evaporated.
And I'm going to say blame Apple again.
And I think Apple says, in its head, Apple says, well, we're going to look, we don't do trade shows. We don't, this is once a year. We get the whole world looking at they've got one coming up in about 2 weeks on the 9th, probably, that the whole world. Okay.
No, but it's true.
The largest portion of the world they're ever going to get anyway is going to be watching.
Is this the only one of these events that Apple has done this year, or have they done others?
No. They have
That's the thing.
They have a developer conference, but this one outweighs them all because the iPhone is so popular and so widely used. This is the most important event.
The issue again is the fact that it's yearly. We all remember cell phones, smartphones weren't a yearly thing.
Right.
They used to. That's what made sort of the events more special, was the company would get up on stage with some real innovation because it would have been a couple of years. But now Apple started this trend of it's a year later. And part of it was because they were trying to catch up to where Google was at the time with the Pixel and other BlackBerry and stuff. So they kept iterating quickly. And then everybody else started wanting to do the thing. So now we're locked into this. We're going to update the phone every single year every 12 months, whether or not there's truly brand new innovation. And don't get me wrong, a lot of the stuff that's in the newer phones is really nice. I think Samsung's display technology is phenomenal. But it begs the question, do you really need to have an event for all this? Probably not, but that's the trend now. And simply with software updates with the operating system, you have to update the OS every year. It's just we're in a cycle. And then people are tuning out and they're like, yeah, there's nothing really happening. It's just well, yeah, because you can't keep shocking the tech world every 12 months.
So maybe that's what was going on, is Google recognizing this thought, well, let's bring some star power and then we'll get more attention. And so maybe I'm the wrong person.
And then the second thought was, let's get one Jonas brother and Jimmy Fallon.
They had Steph Curry. He was the one more thing, which is ironic because they had put out a press release that morning announcing it. So the one more thing wasn't a surprise. In fact, that's part of the problem Google has, which is that they had basically told us everything they were going to announce at this event ahead of the event. There was no surprise in the event.
That's the other thing too, right? Same thing with Samsung. There's so many leaks now,
right?
That everybody knows.
Apple's managing to keep. Well, that's not true. We know.
No, we already know the camera way on the new Apple. It's besides, you could also bet on the fact that the phone is going to mostly look like last year's phone every year. Right?
It's incremental every year. Actually, Mark Gurman, who is the Apple king of Apple rumors at Bloomberg, says that Apple's next 3 years of Apple will be major redesigns because they've got a 10th anniversary iPhone in 2027. They're going to do a folding phone in 2026. He expects some big new designs from Apple. And it's because we were talking at the beginning of the show about the fact that for a long time, PC chips were going nowhere. There wasn't that much to talk about. And now there is, somewhat, by the way, due to Apple's creating its own silicon and booting Intel out of the nest and saying we can do better and actually doing better, which stimulated the whole industry. We're absolutely at that peak phone stage where it's hard to say, what can you do that's new? This is the Samsung Fold. It's nice. It's another folding phone from Samsung, the 7th generation. It's thinner. It's nice, but it's all incremental improvements. It's not.
Yeah. There's
Although I would
nothing-
argue that's the biggest improvement that they've done.
Is folding.
That's the one that Apple wants to do, right? So
Right.
it took Samsung 7 times to get to that, but
Right.
Apple's going to come out the gate with that version, basically. That's
Yeah,
the difference.
because they're buying their screens from Samsung.
Right. Yeah,
They're no
exactly.
fools.
Yeah.
There was, so I guess my other problem is that there was stuff that Google was saying that would have been, I think, of interest, but it kind of got buried in the QVC desk that they had with all of the products kind of thrown out there. For instance, Jennifer Pattison Toohey, a regular on our network, says Google for Home is Google's biggest smart home play in years. That they're going to put Gemini on Nest smart speakers and displays later this year. You might have heard them mention something about that in the announcements, but it went by so fast, you probably didn't pick up on it. Thank goodness JPT did. This is something Amazon said they were going to do with Echo, and I was very disappointed with Echo Plus, a word plus. It was not
They're
impressive.
so far behind.
Yeah. Obviously, Apple's way behind too. Maybe Google can do it. Their Gemini models are very good. Is it possible that the Google Assistant on the Nest devices, which is going to start in October through an early access program, maybe, I mean, I always thought I wish my watch were, I could talk to like ChatGPT on my watch. You could actually do it on the new Google Watch that they announced.
That's going to actually mention before with Grok. You see that they put into Teslas now?
That's a very bad idea.
Actually, you know what's fun about it? It's if you're on long road trips and you get into an argument with your spouse over something, you can get
Grok,
to weigh in.
who's
to settle
right
the
here?
Argument.
Do you have a Tesla?
Your
Have you
wife's
tried
a
this?
terrible person, and that all men are correct.
Thanks, Annie.
I will say that with the AI stuff again, like, the focus, of course, is on the voice stuff and this like agents. And don't get me wrong, super interesting. It's kind of cool. But, what you're pointing out before with Google and some stuff was almost kind of buried. Like, the ability to talk to the Photos app, right, for
Yes.
editing, like telling it to, remove this, and can you make the shadow brighter and do like that is where I see AI being really interesting is these edge cases where things are just kind of smarter and doing things. When it comes to smart home, I want it to be able to like for instance, I do have like an Echo Show. Never use it, but I have one. Say someone approaches the door, right? I want it to detect a human and then automatically put that onto my Echo Show as a live camera. Actually, I could ask it. I can go, Echo, put on my camera, and it will. But like I need it to do it proactively, right?
Right.
So that stuff can be done now. And you're starting to see that, we'll talk later with Microsoft too. They're doing that with Copilot and Windows, but that's where the real story is. And with smartphones, same thing. It's like the designs are there. It's going to be all AI now. It's going to be the NPUs on those and what they can do. But we're still waiting for those kind of killer apps. But I would say what Google was showing was approaching those kind of killer apps.
They're getting close. The watch does it.
Yeah.
According to the Google keyword blog, Gemini for Home, which again is coming out in the next month, can accurately respond to requests like turn off the lights everywhere except my bedroom. Play that song from this year's summer blockbuster about race cars, or set this one. This one hits home because the only thing I use the Echo for is timers. Set a timer for perfectly blanched broccoli. See, I don't know what that timer would be, but apparently.
But also, where in the blend? Yeah, I feel like you'd need more information to be able to set
Well,
that
it could
timer,
ask.
frankly.
It could ask if it wanted to know more.
The advancements of natural language processing, the ability to have
That's what it really
conversations.
is. Yes.
Yeah, the follow-ups. Even in like, I use Copilot a lot, and because I'm always just asking questions and doing research. But it's not that I can just ask it and it spits out the answer. It comes up with interesting follow-ups now for me that I didn't think of before. Like I was getting really into the idea of with cops and pulling you over, what your rights are and all this kind of stuff. And in Massachusetts, and like Not that I'm planning anything, but I just want to know what my rights are.
What are
So-
my
so I
rights?
was
That's
asking-
all. I'm just asking.
Yeah, like what do you have to do and what can, and I asked it and it gave me that answer. Then it was like, you know what? Do you want me to print out a little card so you can keep it with you at all times in your car? I was just like, that's a really good idea.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And I didn't think of that. And so I was just like, yeah, actually, please go ahead and do that. Stuff like that is where this stuff gets interesting, right? Same thing with like TV, like I want to turn on my TV and I don't want to just have scrollable icons of stuff I may like. I want it to kind of present to me like, hey, this new show is out. It's a really high chance you're going to like it, this kind of stuff. That's where I think this technology is going to be really interesting. But we're just at the edge of it right now.
You're calling it a glow up for Copilot for Windows 11, a fresh look and smarter tools. So that's interesting. So one of the things that there's debate over is whether the chat interface really is the kind of the killer interface for AI. Certainly a lot of what people use AI for is not chat-based, things like vibe coding,
image creation. But is Copilot going to be focused on chat? Is that the... No, I mean, long term, no. Currently, yes, because they can only do so much in Windows 11, right? Windows 11 wasn't built to be an AI operating system, but Microsoft has already done through some videos recently hinting that they're working on what you can call probably a Windows 12. We don't know if that's what they're going to call it, but it's going to be an operating system built sort of from the ground up with AI in mind.
For AI. Interesting.
Yeah. But now the Copilot app, it used to be just you open it up and it was basically pretty plain. It was like, what do you want to do? And it was a little chat box. Now it has all of these modules where it can show you your recent documents. Like you see the apps there. That's not a launcher per se. What it does is like if I were to click the File Explorer, it would open with Copilot, and Copilot can then walk me through things on using the app or doing specific things with
Interesting. So it looks like a File Explorer, but really it's a guided experience with Copilot.
Yeah, it's Copilot Vision, they call it. It's this, basically sees what you're doing, and then you can ask questions. So this will be helpful with Adobe. If you open up Adobe Photoshop, you can be like, hey, I want to do this, but I don't know how to do it in Adobe.
And Adobe doesn't know how to respond to you, but Copilot does and will intermediate with Adobe.
Yeah, and they're doing this they're doing that with video games too, with Xbox and PC games. So as you're playing a game, if you're stuck, you'll be able to ask Copilot in the game.
That's interesting.
Basically. And it'll look up and tell you, hey, maybe look to your left and, go down this hall.
Casual behavior, unfortunately.
Yeah.
What's that mean? It's casual behavior?
A casual in gaming terms is, you'd be called like a filthy casual. Someone who's perhaps not good at a game.
Not serious.
Yes.
Because you're not really
casual.
doing what you're supposed to do, which is shoot everything that moves and keep on going.
Or just figure out how to play the
Figure
game.
it out.
Play it.
Asking Clippy for advice.
I'm pretty good, but sometimes I do hit walls and I have to go to, right now, that's the thing though. I'd have to go to YouTube, look up, someone absolutely has done a walkthrough, but it'll be like a 40-minute video.
So it makes it easier to cheat, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in this case, it's not cheating, but if I wanted to
tell you what,
Only all
Paris
the way
is,
down.
Paris is looking at you with real askance.
Look, I'm getting
Listen,
old.
I look up answers in games, but I go and look through a Reddit forum or
I
an
do it
article
the
written by
the hard way.
Right,
The
yeah.
old-fashioned
So
way.
even
Old-fashioned way.
we could tell our kids, we used to walk up the hills both
I
ways.
used to buy the books in the store whenever
Yeah.
I bought
Oh,
my
there you go.
game
They
so
were
that I could
bestsellers.
go
Yeah, the
through
guides.
those guides.
Sure.
Yeah.
That used to be a
Yeah,
very lucrative business to write those.
But having this sort of agent that floats around and you can ask it how to do things like edit photos in Photoshop or how do you get past this thing, this video game, it's going to be, I think, a real interesting way of using PCs kind of going forward. I do disagree a little bit with Microsoft and the idea of like a voice forward type system. You'll still be able to use a keyboard, a mouse with whatever.
Especially at
version of
work.
Windows will
People
be.
don't want to talk to their computer.
Right, yeah. Imagine a bunch of people in cubicles all talking to their computers. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how I feel about. I like voice. I like having the option for it, but like right now you can do this. Copilot, the app on PC, can do voice, and you can say, "Hey, Copilot," right? I never use it though. So I don't know about this.
You're a big voice AI user, Leo, right?
Yeah, but what I don't do is what I see some people do, which actually is have like a conversation with AI. I don't.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me at all. But apparently,
Yeah.
a lot of people do it because I keep seeing stories in the New York Times.
No, people really do. Lurking in all the OpenAI ChatGPT subreddits over the past couple of weeks has made me convinced that there's a significant portion of people that this is
when 5
legitimately
came
all
out,
they do.
Paris specialized in mocking people who were missing 4.0.
I mean,
Right. I heard about that. Yeah.
Some part of it is mocking, but some part of it is just also genuine
Was it
concern
sympathetic?
because
Yeah.
it makes
They
me
lost a
a
friend.
bit sad that some people are. What really struck me was when they announced ChatGPT 5, which for anyone who hasn't been following, they kind of automatically switched all the users over to ChatGPT 5 from before you could pick a variety of different models for your query. And people acted as if their like girlfriend had been murdered
Died.
in front of them. Like not just died, like been strangled to death by Sam Altman and then like pissed on. Like they were losing their minds and were really like, I don't know how I'm going to go on. And I feel for these people that this was such a significant relationship for them that they feel that an upgrade and change in a model is going to affect their lives so drastically. But I am also somewhat concerned, like, that people have developed such a parasocial relationship with a LLM that they are incredibly distraught based on just a model change.
I wonder if that's the motivation for, and everybody's doing it now. Anthropic announced it, Google announced it, and I see that Microsoft's doing it with Copilot, the memory feature, where it remembers your previous chats, so it can kind of pick up where we left off.
It's actually even, I've been using that a lot recently with Copilot because it's really interesting. You can tell it specific things and then you say, add that to memory and it'll purposely remember whatever request you had.
So I'm seeing a screen in your article that says, let's get to know each other more.
Yeah. Right.
Anthony
So like,
Nielsen, our producer, makes a good point in the Discord chat that this memory feature also does make it harder for you to leave for another
Oh, yeah.
event.
It makes it sticky.
Kind of locks the user in.
Totally.
Yeah.
100%.
You know all
But what
about
it does
me.
is, like it knows now when I do, like I'm very much into science and health and medicine and stuff. So when I look up stuff like that, it knows to do a deeper search. Because right now in Copilot, you can choose like different levels of search. You know, so it's like, do you want to do a surface search that takes 5 seconds, or do you want me to really look at it for like a minute or two? So it knows on the topic of interest for me how deep it should kind of go and how like wordy the answer should be with information. And that's, I think, really important because right now the issue is when you open the app, you have to choose. Like right now, I can choose quick response, 2 to 3 seconds, think deeper around 30 seconds, deep research around 10 minutes, or they have the new smart GPT feature, right? So there's 4 options. But like, I have to think about that every time I'm going to do a query, which one am I going to do?
Yeah.
But like this will now kind of learn how I use it. And, you know, if I'm going to ask about a simple movie, it's not going to do a 10-minute research, right?
So do we know if Microsoft is doing this with OpenAI's models, or are they using their own models for this, or is it a combination? Do we know how?
Well, they do have. So they have the new features, like quick response, a smart response, which uses GPT-5. So
That's
you can
5.
choose that.
Okay.
Yeah. So they do use OpenAI's like as a scaffold, but Microsoft puts on its own rules for the system. That's different than like you can do more stuff, I would say, that's sketchy on OpenAI than you would be able to do on Copilot. There's more guardrails, they would call them. So they put on their own system. So people often, I think, equate Copilot with OpenAI, but and ChatGPT, but they're not. They are very different, and it's frustrating that I see a lot of people, just say, "Oh, it's the same thing." It's absolutely not. I like Copilot's interface just because to me it feels a little bit less like, I don't know, like I'm going for like a DOS prompt or something like that. It just feels a little bit more pleasant to use. And I think that's a tough thing to do with these models right now, because right now you just have like query window and you don't know what to do.
We're going to take a little break. Daniel Rubino is here, host of the Windows Central podcast, editor-in-chief at Windows Central. Actually, you in the most recent show, you talked about agentic AI, which I thought was really a good conversation, really interesting with Zach Bowden. Also here, Paris Martineau. We talk about AI every Wednesday on Intelligent Machines, and it's very nice to have you on a Sunday, back where
This is Weekend Paris.
Started. Weekend Paris. This time not balancing a laptop on her knee. She's at her fancy new desk with the multiple monitors.
I got 2 monitors. I got lights that may or may not be working. I've got a boom arm that might fall off mid-show. It's precarious and beautiful over here.
At least you don't have to balance it in your lap. That's the main thing. I'm so happy about that. Good to have you both. Our show today brought to you by ExpressVPN. A few, if you think about it, it seems like an eternity ago, a few decades ago, if you were a private citizen, not somebody like us, public people, but private citizens, you were basically that, private, right? What's changed? Well, the internet, for one thing. Think about everything you've browsed, you've searched for, you've watched, you tweeted, you chatted about with your favorite chat bot. Now imagine all of that data being crawled, collected, and aggregated by data brokers into a permanent public record, your record. We just found out that XAI, if you shared a chat that you had with Grok with another person, that link suddenly became public and it was being scraped by search engines and clearly becoming part of your record at your favorite data broker. And I hope they're all your favorites because there are at least 500 of them and they're all keeping track of all that stuff. You may not like the idea of having your private life exposed for others to see. Sometimes used to be that was, celebrities had to worry about that, but there was some privacy. Nowadays, everyone's online. Everyone's a public figure. To keep my data private when I go online, I choose ExpressVPN. In fact, it's a great boon when I travel because I can still, catch my Formula One race, the football game, wherever I am in any country. Everyone needs ExpressVPN. One of the easiest ways for data brokers to track you is through your own computer or phone's unique IP address, which also reveals information about your location. And there's other information, fingerprinting, that's going on all the time. With ExpressVPN, you're not using your IP address. You're using their IP address. No one can see who you are. It makes it much more difficult for data brokers to monitor, track, and monetize your private online activity. ExpressVPN is the best VPN. And the reason I use ExpressVPN, it's the only one I use. Of course, it uses strong encryption. 100% of your network traffic is encrypted between you and their servers to keep your data safe from hackers when on a public Wi-Fi. ExpressVPN works everywhere you do, your phone, your laptop, your tablet. You just tap one button, turn it on, you're protected. It is as easy as can be. You can even put it on your router. But the other thing I really respect and love about ExpressVPN, they go the extra mile to make sure that they're not tracking you either. See, when you're using ExpressVPN, of course, the data brokers don't know it's you, but at some point you have to merge into the public internet. You do that on ExpressVPN servers. They make sure their servers cannot log you, cannot track you. They use their own trusted server technology, it's been vetted by third parties, to make sure it's running in RAM, that they cannot write anything about you onto the hard drive. So as soon as you open that VPN, you're running your own exclusive kind of sandboxed RAM version of the server. And as soon as you close it, it's gone with no trace left behind. And to make absolutely sure of that, they also run on a custom version of Debian that wipes the hard drive every morning. When it reboots, fresh start every morning. So there is literally no record of your visit to ExpressVPN. Now that's real privacy. Protect, and this has all been vetted, by the way, by third parties time and time again. So we know it really works as advertised. Protect your online privacy today. Visit expressvpn.com/twit. That's expressvpn.com/twit. You can get an extra 4 months free when you buy a 2-year package. expressvpn.com/twit. And as you can see, it's fast and easy to install. You're seconds away from privacy. expressvpn.com/twit. We thank them so much for their support of This Week in Tech. It's actually kind of interesting because we were talking about Apple and Google. Apple is apparently, according to Bloomberg, Mark Gurman, thinking about using Gemini to power its revamped Siri.
That is so crazy.
Well, it's got to be something. It probably can't be zero.
Apple has lost yet another researcher from their AI division. I don't know what the count is, 5 or 6 now, to Meta coming with that big checkbook, writing those big checks. And I really feel like the morale at the Apple AI team must be getting worse and worse.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they really missed this. And we were kind of promised like, okay, well, they're going to catch up. This is Apple, when it comes out, it'll blow everybody away. But this is starting to really feel like a really big miss, especially because they put everything into Vision Pro and thought that was going to be, their next big category.
Can we say can we finally say that is a flop?
Dead.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah. Nobody on MacBreak Weekly will admit it, but
no one talks about it. There's no development going on with it.
Yeah.
Amazing hardware. Don't get me wrong. Amazing technology. But
yes, but nobody wants it.
What do the folks on MacBreak Weekly think is going on with this?
Someday.
It's one of those. Oh no, this is Apple really trying the future, and they had to do this because I think maybe they think, like many people think, that Google and Meta are doing glasses. Actually, one of the things Google said this week is glasses are not on our, at least short-term radar.
They're like, we already did that, and you guys hate it.
Yeah, they did. They said that. Although at the last Google Developers Conference a month ago, they showed these glasses. Dieter Bohn was wearing them, walking around. So it's unclear. Google is so... Anyway, according to Gurman, Apple had talked with Anthropic earlier this year and OpenAI. They're still several weeks away from deciding on whether to use internal models for Siri or to have a partner. But apparently the latest is that they are talking to Google.
What a strange pair.
It feels, really. Remember when Steve Jobs was suing Google like they were the evil empire? And
it must have been like when Microsoft went to Google and was like, we're going to make an Android phone. Is that all right? It's just like,
what?
Yeah,
sure. Okay. If you want to, anybody can, Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen with Apple AI. I think so. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think this is just for investors. I think this is going to really hit Apple hard because investors right now are really, for better or worse, you can talk about the bubble, but they're really bullish on AI. And so where companies are leading, getting back to like Microsoft
they're right or
and
wrong?
Google. I kind of think they're wrong a little bit. I think I understand the point. Like GPT-5 is not AGI, right? We're still very far from this, and it's going to take a while.
I think it was a mistake even to say AGI.
Of course, yeah.
That's
no one even knows can define
But
it.
how do you raise all of these like billions and trillions of dollars?
Well, you have to draw the picture.
Right. Yes.
You have to get people excited.
But so I get the idea of like, this won't explode as fast, but it is changing things radically.
Happening.
Yeah. And so the investors are rewarding companies. Remember with Google stock when they showed Gemini and made a mistake on like their stock dive, right? Now, that was ludicrous because we know Google was going to recover, and they are, right? Gemini is actually pretty impressive, and they're doing a really good job with it, and no one should be surprised by that. And you have Microsoft who pivoted like rapidly, right, to AI, and then you have Apple who's kind of missing this thing, and so much of their revenue is dependent on the iPhone, and so I think they're going to start to, between that. We can talk about later with the manufacturing in India, the challenges there. They have a lot of headwinds going on there that I think it's going to be, I don't know. It might be really interesting to watch Apple next couple of quarters.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're going to announce new phones in, a couple of weeks, 3 weeks. They probably won't have an AI story that goes with it.
going to be happening in a couple of weeks?
Oh, they got
a big old report.
Yeah. On it. Every Sunday he does this to me. He dumps a bunch of stuff. Sometimes it's, interesting. Sometimes it's not. We think it's September 9th. We think there'll be a slim iPhone 17. We don't know what the name will be. The iPhone Air, some people are calling it. That will have only fewer cameras. It won't be as good battery life. It's more a design choice, but it is, I think, widely considered a iterative step in getting to a thin folding phone. Like you have to get this part.
And Samsung, I was going to say,
right?
Samsung did their thin phone, right? The S25.
Okay.
Right.
Perhaps
So
this
that's
is a
the
dumb
first
take,
step.
but who's clamoring for the thinner and thinner
I don't know.
devices?
It's a weird
Is
thing,
anybody
right?
out there being like, I need my laptop to be
I-
thinner. I need my phone to be thinner. They're thin enough.
People buy iPhones.
you're
for
totally
design
right.
because they
Give
like
me
it.
a
totally
slightly
right,
thicker
Paris.
iPhone that has some better stuff in it and
Right.
better battery life that doesn't crap out after a couple of years of using it.
Right.
I think you're absolutely right, but I also think Leo's point was really interesting about getting to the fold because
I mean, the fold, I guess, makes sense.
Yeah.
They're also doing something with the curved iPhone, if I recall correctly. And there's like some iPhone they're going to be bringing out that maybe has Touch ID back, which I do kind of like. As a
Yeah, I don't know if
Touch
that's
ID
this
was
year.
great.
I think that's probably next year. The fold will probably be touch, not face. I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, that
these
would
are all
make sense.
rumors, right? There will be, of course, at least we think 4 models of iPhone. Actually, you mentioned this, Daniel. Apple says we're going to make them all in India. To which Foxconn China said no, not so fast, and has now pulled another tranche of engineers out of India. Apple's trying to replace those engineers with engineers from Taiwan. Foxconn is a Taiwanese company, but of course, it's really about mainland China. So there are challenges. And then there's also the issue of tariffs, Indian tariffs. The Chinese tariffs have been put off. And that's why we believe Tim Cook gave a gold bar to the president.
As one does.
As one does, in the hopes of continuing the deference to the iPhone. There are, as of this time, no tariffs on the iPhone, but that could change at any minute. I don't know. We'll find out. There's a lot of speculation right now. Let's just put it that way. I don't think there's anything in this year's crop of iPhones that's going to make people go, wow, we didn't expect that. Or, wow, that's so much better. In
Which
fact,
I mean,
I'm
you
thinking,
you really have me thinking and like yearning for the old iPhone cycle of like when it would be like 2-3 years and then all of a sudden there would be a mysterious Apple event announced and you'd be clamoring like, ooh, what
could it
fun
be?
treats are we going to get? And
Well,
there was
this
something kind of interesting.
this is what
and novel.
Gurman's saying is going to happen in the next generation, the 26, 27, 28 phones. You've got the 10th anniversary phone. The one I think you were
20th anniversary phone.
20th,
Not
I'm
10.
sorry. Yeah, from
It'll be
2007 to
gold.
27. And there is, I did see a rumor that the 2028 iPhone will be clear. That will be, they want to do an all glass kind of, I don't know. And that's
Okay, that would be kind of cool, like those clear MacBooks. I could be, listen,
I didn't even
would be into
bookmark
that.
this story because
I mean, it's
so
probably going to cost $4,000 and I won't buy it. But if it was reasonable and also was clear, that could be kind of fun.
yeah. I don't, there's a lot of speculation. Let's see. Yeah, the iPhone 20.
The sad thing is, like,
Okay.
this event in September should be them getting up on stage talking about AI and
Yeah,
really
but you know it
blowing everyone
won't.
away.
And you know it
like
won't.
being like, yeah. And that's what
they can't.
that's going to be the big missing thing. As far as the I don't worry about them with hardware. They've always done amazing hardware, but lately their software, I've been seeing so much negative stuff about their operating system.
People
They've
don't like
obviously-
this new liquid glass. There's
Yeah,
definitely a backlash.
that was
on
like
it.
I'm
a big whiff,
already
right?
stressed about it. I don't need other things going on in my phone. I don't need the background to have kind of a weird little effect always going on that's going to make my
Well,
phone warmer and the battery shorter.
And it also reduces contrast. It definitely reduces visibility. I'm
And
already
isn't the
seeing
theory-
articles about how, well, here's what you do. You go to accessibility and you turn off transparency so that you can actually use your,
Wow.
yeah.
Wait, and
So
wasn't the
dumb.
theory that the reason they did this was because of Vision Pro? Because they were trying to build
Yeah,
their
they-
operating system.
Yeah, they
for
wanted a unified
future.
look across all of their platforms. But it does seem odd that you would try to look more like the one platform that really doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Well, I think they, I mean, they must have started designing this like over a year ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's probably what it is. Yeah.
Out of sync in the Discord chat just brought up a great point. Isn't Apple also changing something about how they name the iPhones, or at least the operating system,
Yes.
where it's not going to be an
Match.
iPhone 20, it's going to be an iPhone 26 or something? Or is
The
it
operating
iOS
system
26?
is 26,
Ugh,
not the hardware.
I hate this.
But
I hate
Apple could
that.
change the hardware too.
Why do we?
We don't know what the
Why do we
thin one will be
want-
called. Yeah. It's all 26. They wanted it all. Microsoft's done the same thing. They've kind of willy-nilly changed numbering schemes.
Samsung did it. The S25.
Samsung did it too. They
Yeah.
skipped a whole bunch of them. Yeah.
Yep. So now we're the 25 for
I don't like
2025.
It makes me upset, and I don't know.
You're such
I
an
can't
old-
articulate
For
why.
a young person, you're such an old person.
Just why be so dumb about naming things? Why, if you're like Steve Jobs is rolling in his grave, in his quinoa-filled grave.
It's gonna be weird to say iPhone 30 someday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
did you get the
that's
new
the thing. I
iPhone
don't want to
30?
get any closer to that dystopian
I hope
universe.
that I live to see that day.
Yeah, seriously. At the rate things are going,
I might not.
might not
I
have
could-
it.
We'll
I
bring
could
it
be gone by then.
into your retirement home.
Bring it
Leo.
to the
Like,
retirement home.
This is the iPhone 30.
Say, Leo, it's the 30. What is it? It's a phone. Oh. What's
it's solid gold because King Trump dictated
Yeah.
all iPhones.
The
were to
king
be
has
solid
announced
gold.
that all phones should, for here on after, be golden. So Mississippi got Supreme Court approval for their age law, and already backlash, besides the fact that teenagers in Mississippi are now learning how to use VPNs. Bluesky said, you know what? We're going to block use of Bluesky in Mississippi because we just can't afford to implement that technology.
I mean,
They
yeah,
lost
Blue Sky is a
tens of
small.
customers.
Tens
They're
of
small-
customers.
Yeah, they're a small.
Blue Sky would
company,
have to
small.
verify every user's age and obtain parental consent for anyone under 18, according to the new Mississippi law. The potential penalties for noncompliance are up to $10,000 a user. They say, besides the fact that it presents significant limits on free speech, it disproportionately hurts smaller platforms like my Mastodon instance. I'm thinking, should I block everybody in Mississippi? I'm not going to, but maybe I'll regret that. To comply, Blue Sky would have to collect and store sensitive information from all its users, right? Because you have to prove everybody's age, in addition to the detailed tracking of minors. So they said, we're a small team. We can't do it. And if you try to use it in Mississippi, it'll block you.
I mean, I think we're going to start seeing things like this happen at more and more sites.
Yeah, and more states, because Mississippi's, now that the Supreme Court gave them the go-ahead, it's just a matter of time before Texas and Florida's similar laws will go into effect, and this is going to be a cascade.
It just gets into this weird thing that it's because we all tacitly know social media is pretty terrible. And it's
Yes,
really terrible for kids.
It is terrible.
Right?
It's terrible for
And
adults, too. It's terrible.
Yeah, and it's like, like there's all those studies and, states and cities are now banning phones in classrooms, and they're like, it's a complete change. The kids are way better now, and it's just like, we all know this would happen. And so I understand why states would want to do this, but obviously it's a lot different than saying like you need to ID to buy alcohol, right? That's pretty simple.
It's very different.
But this is very hard. So I don't know what the answer is, but I don't side with, but I understand why parents, teachers, states would try to implement this. I just don't know it's the right solution, but we got to figure something out.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is just people just get tired of social media and stop using it. But
that wouldn't be so bad as far as I'm concerned. No. But
can we just go back to Twitter when it was 2009?
What's wrong with text messaging your friends? That's what I want to know. Of course, there's a similar law in the UK, and that was another place where teenagers have become very adept at using VPNs. 4chan, which I thought was gone, but apparently has resurfaced, has told the BBC they're not going to pay the daily online safety fines. Come and get us, UK. Ofcom, the British online regulator, has decided to impose a £20,000 fine with daily penalties thereafter for as long as 4chan fails to comply with its request to block minors. 4chan says, we broke no laws in the U.S. Actually, it's 4chan's lawyer. So my client will not pay any penalty. Interesting. We'll see what happens there. Because they say we are a U.S. company incorporated in the U.S., we're protected against UK law.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, again, it gets into just all sorts of weird stuff with how do you enforce this? How would you do collection? Right? It's like,
yeah. Huh. We'll see. That'll be very interesting. Let's take a little break. More to come. You're watching This Week in Tech. We are 1 hour away from the Starship test flight, their 10th test flight. It hasn't gone so well the last 3, but if we're still doing the show, which I think we will in an hour, we will cut away and watch Starship take off. This is the largest rocket I think the humans have ever launched, bigger than the Saturn V that went to the moon. This is going to be the launch vehicle for flights to the moon and beyond.
As the wise poet Nicki Minaj once said, starships were meant to fly. Hands up and touch the sky.
Can we all sing a rousing chorus of that? Not now, 1 hour from now.
1 hour from now. Set your timers, folks.
Our show today, thank you. Perez Martineau is here, you can tell, right? As well as Daniel Rubino. Great to have both of you on this special cozy version of This Week in Tech. Our show today brought to you by this little guy on my desk right here. This is a Thinkst Canary. Look, it's about the size of an external USB drive. In fact, that's what it looks like. Sitting on a shelf in your office, you can see there's an Ethernet connection and power. Oh, but it is so much better. This Thinkst Canary on my desktop looks like a little USB drive. Actually, if you were a bad guy had penetrated my network, you'd think it was a 2019 Windows Server 2019. What? How could that be? Well, that's what's so cool about this Thinkst Canary. It's a honeypot that can pose as almost anything. And it's as easy to set up as just going to the console where I am right now. You know, you really want to get attacked. Say you're Microsoft SharePoint 2010. How about that? Or a SCADA device, or a Linux server, or a Cisco adaptive security appliance. That's the point of this. And by the way, it's a perfect impersonation using MAC address that belongs to the manufacturer, and on and on and on. This is brilliant. I won't change this one right now. We're going to leave it as that 2019 server, because I do want to show you one other thing you can do with a Thinkst Canary. You can create Canary tokens. These are files. You can create an unlimited number of them and scatter them around. And these can be almost anything. In fact, they can literally be a credit card, an Azure login certificate, a Word document, an Excel spreadsheet. It could be an Acrobat PDF. You can name them provocative names like employee information, and then put them anywhere, even in the cloud. I have a few of these on my Google Drive, for instance. Now, here's the beauty of this. If somebody tries to log into that Windows Server 2019 or open one of these PDF files, I'm going to be alerted immediately. There's somebody inside your network. You know you have a problem. No false alerts, just the alerts that matter. It's that easy. You choose a profile for your Thinkst Canary device. You register it with a hosted console for monitoring and notifications. And by the way, you can get notifications any way you like. SMS, text message, email, Slack. It supports webhooks. It supports syslog. There's an API if you wanted to write your own. Anything you want. But you're only going to get alerted when an attacker who's breached your network or a malicious insider starts probing around, makes themselves known by accessing that Thinkst Canary or those Canary tokens. It's really cool. You might have perimeter defenses. You might have the best setup ever. But how do you know if there's somebody inside your network snooping around? That's why every network needs a Thinkst Canary. Visit canary.tool/twit for just $7,500 a year. You'll get 5 Thinkst Canaries, your own hosted console, upgrades, support, and maintenance. And if you use the code TWIT in the How Did You Hear About Us box, you'll get 10% off that price for life. You can always return your Thinks Canaries with their 2-month money-back guarantee for a full refund. However, during all the years TWIT has partnered with Thinks Canary, their refund guarantee has never been claimed. Visit canary.tools/twit and enter the code TWIT in the How Did You Hear About Us box. You need this. Everybody needs it. I love our Thinks Canaries. Canary.tools/twit. We thank them so much for their support of This Week in Tech. Now, I think, Daniel, you're are you a Premier League fan? Las Ligas, you're a footballer, right?
Well, I used to play soccer, but
not a fan.
So anymore. No, we have the New England Revolution, so I follow them sometimes here.
I'm just curious. I need somebody who likes sports. Paris, you're not really a big sports fan, are you?
Never seen a sport in my life.
Well, this is the week that both ESPN and Fox announced streaming apps by the way, not cheap streaming apps, so that for the first time you don't have to have a cable subscription to watch these.
That's
networks.
huge.
Direct to consumers. It is huge. When I worked at Tech TV, now admittedly that's 25 years ago, cable companies were really leery about us putting any content on the web. They were terrified. And they said, if you want to be on cable, you cannot have an app. You cannot be on the web. They said you could put up to 10 minutes of a show on the web. That's it. They've relaxed since then, but it's still the feeling of cable companies. You know, we spend a lot of money on ESPN. If you are going to compete with us directly with a streaming app, I don't know what we're going to do. We're not going to be happy, but ESPN and Fox both clearly feel like now's the time. They have launched direct-to-consumer services, all the sports rights that are currently available to their cable customers. What's interesting is you'll be able to get the two services together starting early next month. And the reason I want to know if either of you are a sports fan is because I want to know if this price is right. $40 a month.
I mean,
Boy.
yeah, if it's unlimited, sure.
It is. Yeah.
I was going to say, like, actually back in the day, I used to watch UFC, but that was before ESPN and even before Fox.
Now Paramount has it all, right? It's all going to Paramount Plus, yeah.
But they had their own app, and you would do pay-per-view through it and stuff. But I remember it was great because I could travel. I remember watching in Germany. I'd watch pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's what you want, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just like, sure, it was a small screen, but I was traveling. And so where am I going to watch this, right? But that was like many years ago. Then, of course, I went to Fox and then ESPN and, all that went away. So, but now it's going to Paramount. So maybe they can, now the pay-per-views are going away. So maybe
it's all going to be, and I think this is where people get upset is you're going to have all these subscriptions to see the stuff that you want to see.
Sure.
Cosbricks in our Discord
$40
says
for ESPN, $20 for one of the other services, $10 for another. It is basically cable repackaged.
Costs more because you don't forget, you still have to get your internet, right? $50-$60 a month. So in the long run, what we thought was going to save us money has not saved us money.
But you can argue it has other advantages at least.
Cosbrick says ESPN now stands for everybody start paying now.
Yeah.
What does ESPN stand for? I don't know. They acquired the NFL network, although the NFL got a chunk, I think 10%, kind of we're going to call that the Trump 10, got the 10% of the streaming thing. ESPN has made a minority investment in the Premier Lacrosse League. Fox wants the Big Ten network. They have a 61% stake in that, college football. I think at some point, you're going to, if you want to watch sports on TV, you're going to have to pay for a streamer. Apple apparently is losing interest in Major League Baseball. The latest rumor is they will not attempt to renew their Friday Night Baseball, and they will give up on that.
Why was Apple ever the home of Friday Night Baseball?
Let me explain. So most, they call this linear, right? Whether it's cable or broadcast, linear television, where you tune in at a time and watch it. Most linear television only succeeds with live events and really primarily live sports. Maybe you could include the Oscars in that, and a few other live events. But live sports is still a big moneymaker. And so the streamers' theory was, we get more if we can get live sports on our streaming network. That's going to be.
Forgot that Apple TV existed. That's
the problem, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, baseball and they also own Major League Soccer wasn't probably enough to get you to remember that Apple TV existed.
And Netflix does this too, right? They're
doing
wrestling
football
now.
and football,
And
NFL football. Yeah. Amazon bought Thursday Night Football. This is part. I think this is part of the inevitable transition from linear broadcasting cable to streaming for everything, right? It's all going to be on streaming.
And doesn't Apple want to get F1, which is one reason why people are saying that they did the movie F1?
Yeah. There's some question of whether it'll be worth it, because remember, one of the you're an F1 fan, I think, yeah?
Yeah, I watch on occasion.
Yeah. But it all happens in the middle of the night, U.S. time.
Right.
Not all of it, most of it. So it isn't, people in the U.S. don't watch Formula One live, right?
Yeah. No.
So it's not. So it doesn't have the same strength. Anyway, this will be interesting. This is just one more brick in the wall for broadcast and cable, and one more step forward for over the top. That's what they call this, because it comes in over your internet, over the top.
So what happens? What happens to like YouTube TV, which is basically like I use YouTube TV, but it's basically like
I do too. It's actually a great success.
Yeah. But like, if everything transitions away, I don't know, like, is AMC going to continue?
Well, one of the things you notice with YouTube TV is they've started to add subscriptions to HBO and other content companies, right? I think they want to be your cable company, over the top cable company, basically. But you're right. What happens if will locals die? Will you lose broadcast TV? People still want local news, right? Or maybe not.
Is anybody out there subscribing for local news? Probably not.
Probably not.
But that's why people get YouTube TV, is because we want TV,
you can do local.
But we also want our local stations, right?
Yeah. I'll say though, it is cool that there are like dedicated channels that will just show like the Brady Bunch 24 hours a day. Like,
thank God for the 25th century. We can watch the Brady Bunch at any time of the day or night, or Petticoat Junction, or
there's like Family Ties is on 24 hours on one channel. I'm like, it's kind of they have
crazy.
Old game shows that are on all the time.
Game show
I'm
network,
like,
yeah.
It is like fascinating that you can like just watch all that stuff. We're actually, AMC right now has Mad Men. They're AMC. I forgot what they have like a separate AMC channel, and they're showing.
It's all Mad Men.
Yeah, 24 hours a day. So we start rewatching it.
This is what I don't understand is, don't you want to watch it in sequence, like episode 1, episode 2?
Think.
Apparently not.
No.
You'd think, but then you get decision paralysis. There was something beautiful about the time where you just had cable TV.
Yeah.
And you could just
whatever's
flip
on.
channels.
Turned it on.
You could be like, Cocoon, but I'm 30 minutes late to the
I
start
missed
of
the
Cocoon.
beginning, but I've seen it 80 times, so I know what's going on.
But
you
isn't
like
it fun
that?
to be thrown in the middle of it?
Wasn't it you who said you like the Criterion Channel?
I do like that the Criterion Channel has a live, like,
that's
you can
cool.
just
take whatever's
I
on.
watch whenever I'm sick, and I never wanted to decide what to watch. I just turn on the Criterion Channel live stream, and maybe it'll be good. I mean, I could see what's streaming right now.
I made a note of that for when I'm in the home, because that's definitely what's happening. My mom.
It's funny to watch
Right
a
now,
Criterion movie.
Love Unto Waste is playing.
Like, I feel
How
like-
do you know? Is there a website?
I just searched. It is
okay.
what's on now.criterionchannel.com.
That's
But
hysterical.
the reason why I know this is because if you click on the Criterion Channel, their live thing, it doesn't tell you what's on. It's just a movie playing.
It's just on. Right.
It's just on.
There's no info bar or something.
But it's a 1986 romance mystery.
See, I really think everybody should add that X-ray feature that Amazon Prime has, where you press
that's
a
a cool
button.
No, I don't want any information. I want to be just thrown into the movie.
Oh yeah, but I get it also because a lot of people just go on their phones. I'll be doing that. I'll be watching a show. I'll be like slowly lift a phone up to look up who that person is.
All the time.
Yeah.
But see, I'm watching with my wife, And so she says he was in, and I said, no, he wasn't.
Yeah.
He was in, no, who is that? And so we need this information. If you're just watching with
the
your
solution to this is to have such bad memory when it comes to people's faces and particular names.
It's all
that anybody will be
fresh.
like, oh, that person was in something. And I'm like, sounds likely.
Sometimes you see it and you go, I know who is that? Where did I see them? Wow.
That has never happened to me in my
Doesn't happen
life.
to you? Wow.
I mean, there's sometimes where I'm like, yeah, I maybe know this person, but I'm not going to be able to guess where they're from or what I've seen them in because
to me
I
all
don't
the time.
recall faces and names like that.
We were watching Hunting Wives, which is a terrible show on Netflix. But it's
wait
a terrible.
second. Can we have a moment? Is someone hunting the wives?
No, the
being
wives
hunted?
are hunting others.
Other wives?
Yeah,
or
they're all.
others
It takes
unmarried?
place in Texas, and they're all packing heat. And there's a
Okay,
lot of
can you continue?
gunplay. There's a lot of gunplay. But the star of it looked really familiar, and I'm thinking, where have I seen her before? Where have I seen her before? And of course, she had a small part in Billions. She was Axe's wife in Billions, and then it clicked, and I go, oh yeah, and then we can go on and watch the show. But see, otherwise, it's going to bug me. Doesn't happen.
So to tie it all back, wasn't Samsung with their new smart TVs? Don't they have like AI built in? Like I think you can pause the channel now. And
now
ask
maybe that's what I need.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
like
what I
which.
need.
Yeah, that makes sense too. It's like
Samsung
circle to
TVs
search.
though, they're good TVs. They make great panels. The worst software drives me nuts.
Truly, it is driving.
Do you
me
like
insane.
LG? Do you like LG's?
I have an LG, and that's Web TV. You know, they
right,
bought
yeah, WebOS.
WebOS. All of them though are trying to monetize you by showing you ads, and it's just annoying as hell. You bought a nice Samsung TV, didn't you, Paris? You got a really
Behind
nice
my
TV.
head right here. It's giant on your recommendation. I was buying my first TV in a decade, and I was like, well, this is January, and I was like, tariffs are going to come soon. Might as well splurge. I got a very nice 65-inch QD OLED or whatever the good
Best
OLED
QD
is.
OLED. That's what I told you to get. Beautiful screen.
Fantastic, but it's my first smart TV ever, and it's driving me up the wall because I have like 75 remotes now because I've got an Apple TV thingy, I've got a Blu-ray box, I've got another thing, and then I'll turn one of them on, I'll navigate to the labyrinthian menus to get watching my content, and then a pop-up will come where it's like, Samsung's updated its terms of service. Please click
that
here
drives
to
me
read.
crazy.
But it won't go away unless you find the Samsung remote and then
Right.
read something.
Click
and I'm just
that
like,
one.
I live
So
in hell.
annoying. Now my Apple TV, and I'm sure there's a way to turn this off, but I'm watching a movie and it pops up a little thing. The Giants just scored in the bottom of the ninth.
Yes.
You better.
Ew.
That drives
Yes,
me nuts.
I've
I'm not
seen
watching the
that.
Giants game. I don't want to. What makes you think I would stop in the middle of this movie to go watch
Go
a
watch
baseball game?
sports.
Anyway, I'm sorry. You got us.
Didn't mean to open up the bag of worms, guys.
You got us wound up a little bit.
Yeah, I guess.
Are you excited, Paris, that Waymo is coming to the Big Apple?
I'm interested to see how that will work because as someone who's driven in New York City a fair amount for someone who doesn't own a car, it's not for the faint of heart.
Or the faint of
I can't wait till it's
LiDAR.
spray painted.
Oh, can you imagine? They're going to get burned and trashed.
Although,
Oh, yeah.
if the rumor has it, Trump is going to put some military soldiers on the streets, so maybe not.
In fact, kids, be nice because you don't want the National Guard in your town. You really don't. So please be nice to the Waymos. Don't give the government any excuse to put the military in your town. Just
Imagine
ask the
going back
DC
in time
folks.
and explaining to people, like, so how's 2025? It's like, well, we're starting to get self-driving cars finally, but we have the military on the streets.
To protect
People
them.
keep burning them.
They kept burning them, so they sent in the National Guard.
We're starting to get self-driving cars, but when you try to use one, you'll find out that it actually costs double what it would cost to call a Lyft or an Uber, and it will take twice as long to get to you. So,
Yeah.
and people
Actually,
are burning them.
Somebody's saying in our Twitch chat, Chesticles McGee, probably not his real name, I can't believe they allow cars in New York City.
That's
I
a great
agree.
point, Chesticles McGee. I concur.
I mean, they try to tax people coming in, right?
Right.
As
Is
an
that still
extra
going?
tax.
The
No,
No,
I think-
specific. It
Trump
is still
tried to
going.
stop it. Yeah.
Oh, is
It's congestion pricing, and it is specifically
Yeah.
if you were entering into a certain area of Manhattan where there's incredibly high congestion. It
Yeah.
was supposed to be a $15 fee. Now I think it's like $9 or $10.
It's not that expensive. I mean,
It's not
Well,
that
it adds
expensive.
up.
it's
No.
$80 to park, so you might as well pay the $10 to get in. The parking
I mean,
expensive.
you also could just go park your car anywhere else in New York City that
Right.
isn't below
And then-
whatever it is, 35th
and take the
Street,
subway.
and then take the subway or a taxi or something else.
Jammer B says the title of this show should be Chesticle McGee's has great points. Moving on. Anyway, no, Waymo announced it's going to test driverless cars, got permission to test them in New York City. There will be safety drivers. Doesn't mean that you'll be able to hail them yet. But wasn't this a problem when Uber came to Manhattan that it suddenly became very congested with all these extra vehicles?
Well, I will say, anytime I'm out in the city, you can see when cars are rideshare or like for hire, because the license plates will have it start with a T in the background, and like almost every car I see is a T license plate.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe this is me being naive, but I'm interested to see how Waymo will fare, because truly driving here is not for the faint. Like the first couple times I rented a car and drove friends out of the city for like a little trip upstate, like there were multiple periods of everyone screaming at
It's
the top
very
of their lungs in fright.
It is
Like,
very stressful. I've done it
it's-
too. And it's extremely stressful. Have you,
Yeah.
Daniel, you're in Massachusetts?
But I used
only
to live
thing-
in New York.
The only thing worse than driving in New York maybe is driving in Boston.
Yeah, Boston's pretty
nuts.
But it's
Yeah,
like a
because it's
different worse. Like I feel like the bad one in New York City is like chaos all the time from
Yeah.
27 different things, and then Boston, it's just like 3 to 5 terrible aggressors are
Well,
Yeah,
surrounding
also,
you.
the streets are one way
confusing
and
Yeah,
tiny.
it's super confusing.
It's a
I
very-
lived in Boston when before it was Google Maps, and I used to work in movie theaters as a union projectionist, and so I'd get sent places, and it
what
would
a
take me
cool
hours.
job.
Oh, it was an awesome job. But I'd get sent to theaters, and I'd be like, it would take me an hour to find them because it was Boston's just so the way it's organized, and if you go on Starro Drive and you have a truck, there's a famous thing with Starro Drive where trucks go on it and they're not supposed to, and there's a tunnel that they can't go through. And
they stop.
Oh,
It's
or
called-
they
it's-
hit themselves and clip off the top.
Yeah, it's called getting starrowed. Like it's like because it happens literally all
Getting
the time.
starrowed. You got starrowed
Yeah.
again.
I used to ride a motorcycle in New York City, and I found that way less stressful actually.
Yeah,
Compared
because
to a car.
you can go around stuff.
You can and plus you could see above everybody. It was actually really nice.
So you know what's happening. Whereas everybody in their cars doesn't have any idea. That's why in all the movies, they jump out of the car and they start yelling. And then it's worse because that car's not moving suddenly. It's what a mess. I know. I've seen it in the movies. So tell me about this projectionist. I did not know about this. This was like your first job out of school or what?
Yeah, I started in high school. Did it for 17 years. Boston, upstate New York.
Is that
Long
still
Island,
a job or does there's no projectors anymore?
I ran the first digital projector on the East Coast. It was up in Albany, Massachusetts. That was that was 1999.
That's when the movies came on hard drives or?
Yeah. They would come, and eventually satellite. We had a satellite
that you could
dish
download
installed.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to take over film within like 3 years. That was George Lucas's vision. But it did take a lot longer than that. So,
Thank
but it did
goodness.
finally happen. It finally,
Did you see it
luckily-
coming? See, this is a great test tube for people who are about, in jobs that are about to get replaced. You would have big reels of film, right?
Oh,
You'd have to put on the projector, and then you'd have to watch for the dots and know when to start the next. Or was that automatic?
That's the real old school. I used to do that too at a art cinema. You had two projectors side by side, and you had to watch, and you had to manually change them over.
Because they would have three dots, and then they would dot,
Yeah.
and then But
And I would
then
have
they
to
would
do
do
that.
it automatically.
Yeah, well, because I used to run those studio prints. So these were right from like Warner Brothers or something. It was their only copy. So you're not allowed to cut it. So you had to run it reel to reel. But newer movies were printed and then you would cut them. And you just, so if a typical movie might be 5 to 6 reels, and you would splice all the reels together into one giant reel and lay it on its side on these things called platters. And it was,
that's how they do in IMAX when you have the 70 millimeter. They have giant
it looks like that.
platters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird to be a projectionist doing 35 to go to 70 because it's so massive. It's
huge.
It's very heavy. It's a fun job. It was very stressful though. Because if something went wrong.
So this is my question. You were there at the end of that, basically of that technology.
Yeah.
Did you go, oh, we only have a few years left, or what? Were people going freaking out, or was everybody going, it'll never happen?
It was a little bit of both, but we also knew the movie industry and the cinema business was very different because companies like Regal and stuff don't own their property where they build those theaters. So they lease it, they build the building out, it's all in loans, and then they get all the projectors in there and stuff. And they don't make much money from showing movies. They make the money off of concession stands.
It's all popcorn.
Yeah. So they're already paying off all this film equipment. They're paying the lease and all this kind of stuff. And now digital comes in. And it's like, you got to replace all your projectors with, digital, these new $100,000 devices that may be, outdated in a couple of years, right? And so there had to be for a while, like Texas Instruments would subsidize this. So they had their DLP
They had the
projectors.
DLP projectors, yeah.
They would give them to cinemas for like 3 years for free, or and then they would start taking a percentage off of ticket sales and all this kind of stuff. So it really did take a long time because they had to retrofit all these old cinemas, and it's a lot of work. And things were happening, right? I'm sure everybody remembers we went from like 6 or 7 cinemas to 19 plexes and 24 plexes.
Right.
And it was just like they couldn't build enough of them.
They chopped
and now
them up.
it's all going back down again. So it's a very so it was a tough industry.
Was there a point where you said, I better get another career because this is not going to last?
I knew it was happening, but none of my career choices have ever been necessarily planned. Like I wasn't supposed to be doing this, so things just happened. But we all saw the writing on the wall. So
wow. We have to do a show with you and just talk about the projectionist days.
Oh, I have so many stories.
Is there a little hole in the wall that you can watch the movie?
Yeah, I have a bunch of photos on my Flickr. I used to try to document them because I knew it was dying. So I would try to take I was getting into photography at the time, so I tried to document it all before it was all gone.
Well, good on you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, and now we're in a world where like boutique films, like not boutique, but films like Nolan's
Alamo
Oppenheimer is a film that is 11 miles long, 600 pounds for IMAX 70 millimeter film. The only people that are doing this sort of they
had to make new platters that were big enough to hold.
And then it's like, how do you find the person who's going to be doing that job? Because no one's doing it when you're not showing Oppenheimer.
Right. They had to pull a bunch of projectionists out of retirement. Yeah, because no one knew how to operate that stuff.
Wow.
I had a projector in Boston that was a German one, and it's the only one I've ever seen. It was massive, and if you turned the gear the wrong way, it broke the whole thing. It would take months to fix it. So managers were not allowed to even look at the thing because it was so risky. Every time you ran it, it was just oh my God,
I got to bring a union guy in here. You can't touch that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, I'm on your Flickr. I'm gonna have to go way back in time, I think, to get to the. Look, there's a platter.
Yeah,
there's a platter.
There's a platter. Yep.
Look at that.
So they feed out from the center, unlike.
That's interesting. Oh, I see. There it is. That's where it's coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's called the brain, and there's a little arm there that times the spinning of the platter and the film coming out. But if something goes wrong, that film.
Wow. Well, I'm going to have to go through all you're a good photographer too. I love these pictures, but
thanks. I haven't done that in a long time, unfortunately.
This is booth number 1.
Yep.
Look at that.
It's a Century projector. Yeah.
That looks like an antique.
Yeah, that design was around for a really long time. It was awesome to work on. It was a great projector.
Does it say Western Electric on it? Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
And back in the day, like, so you can see the xenon light behind it.
Yeah.
But back in the day, they had carbon arc and stuff, and film used to be extremely flammable.
Yeah.
No, it's flammable. And so, so they built the boots were basically metal cylinders, and projectionists like died if they were massive fires.
God.
Yeah.
It's really loud too, right? It's very loud in there.
Yeah. Yeah. If you look up nitrate film on YouTube, you can see people lighting it, how dangerous it was.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, it wouldn't just go out. Yeah.
Chris Marquardt, our photo guy, we did a photo segment a while ago. He said in Germany, they still made ping pong balls for many years out of nitride. And they you could light them on fire.
That's crazy.
There's a little bit of trivia just for you. All right. Well, Daniel, so interesting. I don't know how didn't know about that. I'm going to have to probe more. Next time you're on, we'll talk more about projection. When was it? When did you stop doing it? Or do you ever go back like as a honorary projectionist? Like what?
Nah, the last time I think it was probably, the reserves. It was probably 2013. It was 2013, 2014.
Not that long ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So
how cool.
Do you think you could make it work if you were trapped in a projectionist room?
Oh, yeah.
The only way out was to have a movie go off without any hitches?
I literally have PTSD dreams of it.
Oh,
because like I would run like an 18-plex, and I'll be the only projectionist, and I'd be on 4 different floors, and I'd do it for like 15 hours. And then something went wrong, like something didn't start, an alarm would go off. We used to do crazy things. They do a thing called interlock. The movie would run from one platter into the projector, but instead of going back to the platter to rewind, it would go down the hall, around a corner to a different projector. So you could play one movie in 2 cinemas at the same time. It was like nuts. Every time we had we were sweating bullets every time we're going to interlock, and it's like, oh God.
Oh my God.
Yeah. There's like so much history and stuff around that stuff. It's great. It was a fun. Yeah.
Fascinating. You're watching This Week in Tech or This Week in Projection Technology.
Old tech.
Old tech. Daniel Rubino is here. Paris Martineau, glad you're here. More to come in just a moment, but first a word from a sponsor, Smarty. I had a great call with these guys. I was so impressed. Smarty is the premier provider of high-performance, cloud-based address data tools trusted by leading organizations in every industry. Insurance, real estate, finance, healthcare, e-commerce, of course, technology, because everybody has the same problems with more than 20 million non-U.S. Postal Service addresses in the U.S. Did you know that? 20 million. A lot of them in rural areas. Smarty's database extends beyond rural limitations from U.S. and international address verification and validation to autocomplete. They even do things like property data enrichment. Smarty offers the most advanced, scalable solutions on the market, and they are fast. They are fast. API-based, it's backed by proprietary technology and data. They deliver unmatched accuracy, consistency, and insight. Look at the companies that use Smarty. With over 350 data points per property. So it's not just an address to Smarty. There's a lot more. You've got rooftop level precision, real-time processing speeds. They can do more than 25,000 addresses a second. So Smarty enables better decisions no matter the size and complexity of your business. You might have just seen on the screen Fabletics. Here was a company, they had a great U.S. business. They really wanted to expand internationally, but they realized mailing is going to be a problem. They dramatically increased their conversion rates for new customers, especially internationally, with Smarty. Smarty's built for you, the developer, engineered for scalability, really easy to use APIs that are reliable. They're lightning fast. It never slows down your software. It's there. It's easy to integrate into your software and supported by the best documentation, fully expert. You're going to love the documentation. And if you have any questions, don't worry. You got real-time technical support from the best. I'll give you another example. Speedway Motors, e-commerce conversion rates. They were going down. This happens a lot. Shopping carts. In fact, it was a real problem because they were getting increased traffic to their website and yet conversions going down. They turned to Smarty, the director of digital product and technology at Speedway Motors, said, "We use Smarty to identify an address as a commercial address. Conversion rates are very strong now. Everything was well set up on the Smarty side. I've enjoyed working with this service. Smarty is a 2025 award winner across many G2 categories: best results, best usability, users most likely to recommend, and high performer for small business. Yes, it's for every size business. Smarty also is USPS CAS and SOC 2 certified and HIPAA compliant. If your organization is looking for the most accurate, reliable, and future-ready address data suite, Smarty is the way to go. Try it yourself. Get 1,000 free lookups when you sign up for their 42-day free trial. Visit smarty.com/twit to learn more. That's smarty.com/twit. We thank him so much for supporting This Week in Tech. Some of you sharp-eyed people have perhaps noticed that I wear one of these smart rings. This is an Oura ring. In fact, we had the founders of Oura on our old show, The New Screensavers, when they first came out many years ago. They were an advertiser later. And they're now, I think this is the 4th or 5th generation ring, and I've been a user ever since. It's really valuable. But there's a lot of competition. Oura went to the United States International Trade Commission trying to stop the competition and have succeeded against Ultrahuman and RingCon for patent infringement related to the Oura ring form factor. The ITC issued exclusion and cease and desist orders banning all Ultrahuman and RingCon smart rings and components from being imported and sold into the United States. So, Superhuman looked pretty cool. I was very tempted, and maybe you've seen all of the, comparative reviews. I stuck with Oura, and I guess I'm glad to.
I like Oura. I've had Oura since the first one. I didn't get the 4th, but I did get the 3rd. And if you were in from the beginning, they grandfathered you into their pay plan.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, because otherwise, what is it, $5? It's not hugely expensive, but I use it for sleep. I use it for temperature. The other day it said, be careful, you might be getting sick. Your temperature's gone up a degree over the last few days. And it's true. I was starting to come down with something. Little things like that. I got it. I got it when they were on the show, but then when COVID happened, I thought this is going to be really useful.
What is the benefit of using an Oura ring over like a smartwatch?
It's convenience. So one thing I really liked about it was digital detox, basically. I don't like
you're not looking at
a screen.
Yeah.
It doesn't vibrate. I don't get notifications, but it does your steps, it does your sleep, it does your body temperature, it does all these other things. So it's a really great way to kind of get those features without it. Plus, the battery lasts like 5-6 days on it. You don't have to recharge it every night. I also like to wear mechanical watches, so it's a nice choosing between,
Figures, you're a projectionist and you wear a mechanical watch, obviously.
Yeah, appreciate
It's
the
a dumb
engineer.
question. How do you charge it?
It has
like
a little.
sit on a mat, or does it have a little thing that you have
post.
to plug something into?
No, it has a little post it goes on. Yeah.
It's amazing, like how much
There's a lot of technology in this light little thing. It lights up. That's the only bad thing. In the middle of the night, like my fingers
you see the little
green.
lights. Yeah.
You can see it's blinking right now.
It's crazy.
The other advantage of it is it's better to measure on the finger some things like pulse and body temperature than it is. It's a little bit has to be projected on the wrist, but here it's a little bit more closer to the source, I guess.
How do you find the accuracy of the data? As somebody who I recently started wearing my Apple Watch again after like taking a couple of years off, and I've been enjoying it for the sleep tracking and other stuff, but I have found a weird side effect is every once in a while it will register me as sleeping when I'm here working in like from like
well, that might be
noon
a
to 4
comment on
p.m.
your work habits, young lady.
I guess, but I'm just
very,
sitting here
very
typing.
I have not had that
This has
problem
happened like
with
3 or
this.
4 times, and I've gone, and people in the forums have similar issues.
Or
go ahead.
I was just going to say, Aura's gotten really good too at detecting when you take a nap.
Yeah, was that an app? Yeah.
Yeah.
It just did that
because,
to me. Yeah.
Yep. I will say it's interesting too that Samsung wasn't named in that.
Interesting.
Because Samsung has a ring.
Yeah.
So they must have engineered all around Aura's patents, which is the correct way to do it.
Apparently Ultrahuman, a claim by claim, this is from the ITC's document. long list of infringements. ITC ruled that all of Aura's patent claims were valid, and a claim-by-claim analysis found both Ultrahuman and Rincon's products infringe every element of every asserted claim of Aura's patent. Oura was the only participant to bring forward a credible witness. Ultrahuman was specifically called out for having falsified evidence of a manufacturing facility in Texas.
Whoa.
Not a good thing. So a big victory for Oura. And they were the first of these.
Yeah.
Samsung, yeah, they do a ring, and they were not mentioned in this suit. Interestingly, Google has, among other things, they said, we're not going to do a tablet, we're not going to do glasses, and we're not going to do a ring. So don't get your hopes up. So I think...
I'm actually glad for Oura, too, because they're one of few... They were just a small tech company. They're out of Sweden or something like that, right? Yeah. And usually these stories go, a company invents something and then they get swallowed up. Apple buys them, Google, someone else buys them, right? Or they jack up their prices. And they did have to do a subscription. People got mad about that, but they needed some source of recurring revenue. But they've really stayed their independent roots since they started. And I think that's actually kind of it reminds me of kind of like Spotify. Spotify's kind of resisted, all that kind of stuff too.
And they're also always enhancing it. They just added an AI feature. I could take a picture of a meal and it will tell me what's in the meal and the calories. It ties in with my continuous glucose monitor. In fact, it can make recommendations based on my blood glucose, my heart rate, my temperature. I think that there is we're not there quite yet, but there is a growing body of stuff for this, quantified self that I think we're getting close. Maybe the Apple Watch, as it gets closer to continuous glucose and so forth, where you really get a good picture. My doctor wears an Oura ring, and that kind of encouraged me when I saw that he wears it.
And also, Paris, another good point is that, especially with Apple Health, Oura can sync into it.
Oh, yeah, so it totally ties into it, yeah.
Yeah, because I loved wearing the Oura ring, but not the Apple Watch. But when I would go to the gym, I hated wearing the Oura ring because it doesn't feel great when you're picking up weights. So I'd wear the Apple Watch.
It's also very dangerous to wear a ring when you're picking up weights.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like one of the main ways that people have degloving. And, no, it's like it's a real concern.
Is that what it sounds like? Degloving?
Yes.
That's what
you
it's called.
Oh, I don't want to be degloved.
Do not look it up.
Don't look it up. But
do you wear weight gloves to protect against degloving?
You could.
No, you should just don't wear a ring when you're touching weights.
Never again.
It's just a very basic safety thing that everybody should do.
That's when I charge my Oura. Is when I'm doing the weights. I just put that on the charger there. And that's usually 15, 20 minutes a day or half an hour a day is enough to charge it.
Yeah, with a shower too.
Yeah, in the shower. Okay, so we didn't want to turn this into an ad for Oura, but we're apparently happy. Now, it didn't go quite as well in court for T-Mobile. T-Mobile thought it was okay to sell your location information without your consent. The judge said, no, it is not. And we're going to fine you $92 million. The FCC last year fined T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon, saying they illegally shared access to customers' location information without consent. The three carriers, of course, immediately appealed. This is the first of those decisions, was handed down on Friday. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia ruled unanimously against T-Mobile and Sprint. The ruling says every cell phone is a tracking device. To receive service, a cell phone must periodically connect with the nearest tower in a wireless carrier's network. Each time it does, it sends the carrier a record of the phone's location and, by extension, the location of the customer who owns it. Over time, this information becomes an exhaustive history of a customer's whereabouts and provides an intimate window into that person's life. And apparently, the carriers, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon, thought, no problem selling that information along. No problem. Brendan Carr, who is now the chairman of the SEC, by the way, when this fine was first proposed in 2020, voted against it. So it may not be completely over for T-Mobile. They could, in fact, appeal or ask the Supreme Court to review. And I could see them maybe going to Brendan Carr and saying, hey, Brendan,
Come
buddy,
on, man.
pal, come on, man. Who are they selling it to? Data brokers, of course. Who else were they selling it to?
None of this is surprising.
Yeah. Yeah.
Disappointing, but not surprising.
Anyway, I think that's a victory. I'm going to say that's a victory. Now, we got a cautionary tale. If you, and I know many of our listeners work as developers in a variety of companies, and perhaps they have contemplated at one point or another setting a little time bomb. Should they get fired? Just a little kill switch, amazing. A little present for management. Should they get fired? Davis Liu worked for Eaton Paper and, in fact, put malicious code designed to crash its servers in the event he was fired. He was fired. And they deactivated his credentials. And he had an Active Directory, a little function, is DL enabled in AD. If DL is not enabled in AD, well, kill the servers. The incident, according to TechCrunch, locked thousands of employees out from the company's systems. The Justice Department prosecuted the case. Actually, it's not Eaton Paper; it's a power tech company. Eaton. They make UPSs and stuff, right? He got caught because his internet search history included searches researching, quote, methods to escalate privileges, hide processes, and rapidly delete files.
Plus, it's tied to his account.
And it was called, is DL enabled in AD? I think that might be a little bit of a giveaway.
Sorry, I'm going to come in with breaking news from SpaceX on Twitter. They just tweeted, standing down from today's 10th flight of Starship to allow time to troubleshoot an issue with ground systems.
Okay, 39 minutes out. If you are my age, which neither of you are, thank goodness, you will remember watching Walter Cronkite on TV during launches of the Apollo and Mercury and Gemini missions, in which they would have these scrubs or these delays, and poor old Walter would have to sit there for hours with models, and he would say, well, here's the Apollo spacecraft, and we brought in another astronaut to explain, and it would just go on and on and on. They ended up earning the nickname Old Iron Pants. Because he could sit for hours. So there is nobody, I'm sure, at SpaceX worthy of doing that, but they have paused. Okay, thank you for that. I'll finish the story because Davis Liu was convicted, and this is the cautionary tale.
4 years.
Yeah, he's been sentenced to 4 years in the slammer.
That seems like a long time. like I get it. They're trying to send a message and all that, but I mean, they wanted to send a message as a deterrent. Yeah, that seems like a pretty 4 years in the slammer.
Slammer for doing a strange thing within your company before you got fired?
Really? Does that seem extreme?
I mean, it doesn't seem extreme knowing what we know about how this country.
It's not like he stole anything. Yeah.
Right.
Wow, God. There was another example like this. Perhaps with like a website company or something like WordPress 3 or 4 years ago. I'll think of it in a minute. But there have been other high-profile examples of decisions coming down hard on defendants who, I guess, hack inside of a company's
I don't know if he was prosecuted under the CFAA, but that is a brutal. The Computer Fraud and Abuse Act is a brutal law.
That's exactly what I'm thinking of. It is interesting comparing this to typical prosecutions of white-collar crime, just to say the least.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
Well, anyway, don't do it. Because
if
4
you do,
years, hard time.
Don't tie it to your name and account.
Is DL still enabled on Active Directory? Is he? Okay, then keep operating. He probably thought he was really clever. So you've heard, of course, that we're still waiting for Judge Mehta's decision in the Google antitrust case. At some point, he will announce the penalties. Among penalties being considered is the sale of Chrome, which has prompted a lot of people to come forward. Perplexity said, we'll buy it. The latest is Ecosia, which is that nonprofit eco-friendly search engine. How do you say it? Ecosia. They have said we'll take over Chrome, but we're not going to pay a penny. I do think that Perplexity offered like $32 billion. So there's but the judge may be persuaded because Ecosia does not want to operate it for profit. They want to transform it into a foundation, which seems to me the only way you could do this, really.
Yeah.
They would devote 60% of the profits earned toward climate and environmental projects, which is what they do anyway. The other 40% would go back to Google. I don't know if the judge will like that. Ecosia is projecting Chrome will generate $1 trillion over the next 10 years. So there's a lot of money.
Just a casual trillion.
Holy cow. No wonder Perplexity wants to buy it. I don't know.
I mean, it is interesting.
How does it make that
to
much
see.
money?
Advertising, I guess. I don't know.
But just Chrome? Isn't it Google advertising?
Well, see, that's interesting. If Chrome is not part of Google, that revenue disappears, doesn't it? Because it's, I don't know.
But the revenue, like the advertising is from like Google search or on websites. It's not Chrome exclusive advertising.
Yeah.
But doesn't
Isn't
Chrome get a percentage? Or I don't know.
I don't know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Apparently, Google has a revenue sharing relationship with Ecosia, so maybe that's what it's based on. Because their search engine is powered by Google.
Hear me out. Monthly subscription fee for your browser.
I pay for Kagi. I pay for a Google search replacement. Oh, well, by the way, as long as we're talking about that, you know that Perplexity created an agentic browser called Comet, which isn't free. I mean, it is free, but you have to be a Perplexity Pro user. Or actually, right now, you have to be a Perplexity like high-end plus user. But I was able to get an invite, and I think you have to be a paying user of Perplexity. Well, don't use it is really the bottom line.
Why?
Because there's a massive 0-day in the Comet browser that would allow a malicious site, get ready, to take over your browser, go through your browser information and history, and, for instance, buy things online with your credit card.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the agent is
because it's
gaining
agentic.
autonomy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The call is coming from inside the house.
Yeah. So Guardio, which develops browser extensions to protect against these kinds of things, revealed that agentic AI browsers are vulnerable to phishing, prompt injection, and purchasing from fake shops. In one test, Guardio asked Comet to buy an Apple Watch while on a fake Walmart site that they had created using Lovable, the vibe coding service. Comet went in there and used your credit card to buy it. It didn't confirm the legitimacy of the site, navigated to checkout, auto-filled the data for the credit card address, completed the purchase without asking for human confirmation. They did the same thing. They crafted a fake Wells Fargo email from a Proton mail address linking to a phishing page. Comet said, "Oh, yeah, logged in." Yep, right away. Yes, sir.
Coming up.
Yeah. So, I think maybe don't use Comet. I'm sure Perplexity will fix this.
How was your experience using it before this?
I don't like I never have used an agentic browser because for this very reason, it makes me very nervous.
I thought you loved every aspect of AI.
Not the one where it takes your credit card and buys stuff. No.
You're like, I've got that under lock already with taking Ambien and using TikTok Shop.
Yeah. Brave, which is a competing browser, by the way, did similar testing on Comet's browser and found that they could do prompt injection in Perplexity's Comet, which meant you could turn it into some sort of evil AI browser as well. So
I like Brave. Brave does some really cool stuff as far as browsers go.
yeah, and I don't think they have an agentic browser to compete with this.
No.
There are other companies that are like the Arc, the browser company. The folks who do Arc have Dia, which I think is planned to be agentic if it isn't already. Brave created a Reddit post with a comment containing prompt injection instructions hidden behind a spoiler tag. You know how you can make it blanked out on Reddit? Mm-hmm. The user clicks the Comet browser's summarize the current web page button. While processing the page for summarization, the Comet AI assistant sees and processes the hidden instructions, which told it to navigate to the Perplexity account, extract the user's email address, log in with that email address, get the one-time password from Perplexity, navigate to Gmail, where the user's already logged in, and receive the one-time password, then exfiltrate the email address and one-time password by replying to the original Reddit comment, all lickety-split without any intervention from the user. Again, I think this is probably time to not use Comet till Perplexity fixes that. Yikes. That's two different things.
Yikes on
unrelated.
bikes.
Yeah. There's a lot of money in these 0 days. There are a couple of companies. Zerodium is one that pay for 0 days and then sell them on. Sometimes
Sell them to who?
Well, it depends. Some of these guys are good, and they will go to the company that has the 0 day and say, "Hey, here's a 0 day. Give us the bug bounty because you're going to fix it." But some of them collect them and then sell them on to nation states. There's a lot more money in the latter. A new United Arab Emirates startup is offering $20 million for a hacking tool or tools that could help governments break into smartphones with a text message. It's called Advanced Security Solutions. Maybe it should be called Advanced Insecurity Solutions. It's offering some of the highest prices in the whole 0 day market. That's how valuable these are to governments that want to hack the phones of dissidents, opponents, and others. So, $15 million for 0 days for Android devices and iPhones, $10 million for Windows, $5 million for Chrome, $1 million for Safari and Edge. Just shows you where the value is. The $20 million goes to a zero-click attack on any mobile operating system. The company says, we empower government agencies, intelligence services, and law enforcement to operate with precision in the digital battlefield. You can make good bucks creating 0 days. All right, we got a few more stories. We're running out of time. It's been a long show. Paris is balancing her laptop on her knees. No, she's not. You stopped doing that. Okay, good.
The Ethernet cable is stretched to the max.
Is it?
It was. It no longer is.
Not anymore. You actually
And now I have a classic 40-foot long Ethernet cable.
Oh, you don't have a plug there. You just... Where does that go?
No.
You're in an apartment.
I'm in an apartment. It goes to the place.
Does it go to the movie theater next door where
It
there's...
does. No, they, in order to install Verizon Fios in my building, have to connect something to the telephone pole behind my house that then runs cables down the wall, up my building, into my wall, and then there's a box where the cables come out, and one of the cables goes to power my router modem or something, and the other one is a Ethernet cable that I run across my apartment to this very computer.
Wow, that's why you have such a good connection. As long as a
300 up,
pigeon doesn't
down.
land on
Listen.
it, you're good.
We're good. Well, it was messed up during that one freak storm in New York City about a month ago.
That's right.
Where 2 different trees fell in my backyard and took out all of the internet for the 3 houses near me.
I remember
Not
that.
ideal.
Yeah. I'm just checking. Let me just see how my sleep was last night. Oh, I love on the Oura Ring, they give you a little crown when you have a good night's sleep.
They give they've gamified sleep.
Yeah.
I
got a
get
little
no crown.
Samsung it does little confetti balloons and stuff like that when you reach your goals.
I love that. Gamify
I slept
sleep.
for 10 hours and 3 minutes last night.
Well, as I have learned, it's not the length of time you spend in bed, it's the quality
It's
of
the
time.
crown you receive.
It's the crown you receive. Let me see how many hours. Yeah, see, I was 10 hours and 17 minutes in bed, but I only slept 7 hours and 8 minutes of that.
How are you staying in bed for 10 hours?
I won't mention what I was doing the rest of the time. No, I like, so look.
Oh, you're reading, watching TV.
Yeah, I don't have a TV in my bedroom, but I do love to read. There's nothing like it. And that's why our sponsor today is Helix Sleep. Because, how about that? Because you spend more time on your mattress than just asleep horizontal. Movie nights with your partner, right? Morning cuddles with your kitty cat Gizmo, right? Your wind down ritual after the long days. My favorite thing, curl up with the Kobo. I got a good book, and I love to read. I might read for hours in bed. I just love it. And your mattress is the center of it all. It's supporting you through all of this. But if it's a bad mattress, an old mattress, a mattress that isn't right for you, you may not have such a great experience. Maybe you're waking up in puddles of sweat. I hate that. Or your back is killing you because the mattress is sagging like that. Or you feel every toss and turn your partner makes. It's a classic mattress nightmare. Now, one thing that's very important to know, your mattress isn't going to last forever. Mattresses need to be replaced between 6 and 10 years, every 6 and 10 years, because they wear. They sag, they go bad. And maybe you're experiencing that right now. Maybe you've put up with this mattress for far too long. I want to point you to helixsleep.com/twit. OMG. Helix Sleep changes everything. Forget the night sweats. Oh, we got this topper that's this cool topper. It's like, cool. It's cool. So nice. No back pain because it's not sagging. No motion transfer. For a long time on our old mattress, the cat would jump on the bed. Every once in a while, they'd jump on the bed. I'd sit up straight up and say, earthquake. But no, it wasn't an earthquake. It was just a kitty cat. No more of that. Get the deep sleep you deserve. Get the little crown on your sleep log. One buyer recently reviewed the Helix Sleep, gave him 5 stars, said, I love my Helix mattress. I will never sleep on anything else. Honestly, it was the reviews that put me over the top. We were looking for a mattress. We knew it was about 8 years. It was time for a new one. And then I started to see the awards. Time and time again, Helix Sleep remains the most awarded mattress brand. Wired magazine gave Helix Sleep their best mattress for 2025, period. Best mattress. Good Housekeeping, the Bedding Awards 2025, premium plus size support, which is good because I'm not a lightweight. I put some weight on that mattress. GQ gave it their Sleep Awards 2025 Best Hybrid Mattress. New York Times Wirecutter Award 2025 featured for plus size. Oprah's Daily Sleep Awards for 2025 Best Hotel-like Feel. Now, I think that should be qualified because some hotels, you don't want to sleep on that mattress because it's a lot of years old. But if you go to a nice hotel, a really good place, like the one that Qualcomm is going to put you up in Hawaii, that nice luxury hotel, you go, this is what I want. This is how I want it home. This is nice. That's what I'm talking about. Oprah's Daily Sleep Awards 2025 Best Hotel-like Feel. Go to helixsleep.com/twit. Great time to go right now. 27% off site-wide during the Labor Day sale. It's their best of web offer. That's helixsleep.com/twit for 27% off site-wide. That's exclusively for our listeners of This Week in Tech. And I have to tell you, this offer ends September 8th, 2025. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. That helps us a lot, too. And if you're listening after the sale ends, don't worry. There's great deals all the time. Check them out. helixsleep.com/twit. You are gonna love it. I do. Our kitty cat does. My wife does. We love our Helix Sleep.
Speaking of kitty cats.
Yes, is Gizmo here? Oh, hello, Gizmo.
Gizmo, say
She's
hi.
the reverse of our Rosie. Our Rosie's mostly black with a little white bib. Yours
Gizmo
looks like
is-
Bat Cat. She's a white cat
does
with a
have
Batman
Bat Cat.
cowl.
She also wants to show butt on camera.
All
I
the
won't let her
time.
do it.
Catanus. No Catanus.
This is a show for children. Children can watch this show, Gizmo.
Hey, children can watch Mark Rober on Netflix soon. He's getting a Netflix series. This is good.
Who?
He's the NASA engineer who did, remember those glitter bombs for porch pirates that he did?
Oh,
They were-
yeah.
Only
Those-
through this show. That's my
Oh.
only. I've seen. You've showed me that on Twitch before.
He
or
has
on-
70 million subscribers, so you're one of the few. You're one of the few. Did I show you? I think I did on Intelligent Machines. The thing he did with the crow, the escape room for crows.
Oh, you did show me that. That was cool. That was him. Good for him.
Yes.
That's fun.
He's puts a lot of effort, time, and creativity into his stuff. Netflix says he will bring some of his most beloved, ambitious, and informative experiments to Netflix later this year. A competition show that I don't like. This is what Mr. Beast.
What if it's a
did,
crow
right?
competition show?
If it's crows, that's different.
Immediately, I'm in.
It's you could tell. I mean, you can. So
Do you think
Beast
crows
games
would like massages?
Oh,
I was trying to think of.
sure.
I was trying to think of a prize for crows, and like maybe
Do
they
kitty
could
cats
crows.
like massages?
Have you not seen one of the best videos on the internet, which is about cat massage? You have seen this, Leo.
No. Is it on
This was-
TikTok?
This was like an old, popular YouTube video.
Well, I guess I'm gonna look it up. Daniel, you have a
Search
kitty cat, yes?
Cat massage
I have
YouTube, and
3
so your
cats.
cat wants a
You have
massage.
3
will come up.
cats. They all
And they
have
are
different
expensive.
personalities too, don't they? That's one of the things I found out about cats.
Well, two of them are bonded sisters, so they're almost exactly alike, and they look alike, and they're both tuxedo cats. But I have to take one in tomorrow to get her teeth cleaned. You know how much that costs?
That's the worst. But you know what? How much it would cost
$2
if you did
grand.
it
I will say, listen,
with
perhaps
urgent
I'm
care?
here-
You know how much that would cost?
All it takes is from when they're a kitten, you get them used to brushing their teeth, and now Gizmo lets me brush your teeth.
I didn't know that
whenever.
was a thing, though. I had cats before. They were fine. These cats are only like 4 or 5 years old, but they have like
The two, well, you've got to have a generalized anxiety disorder, and then you'd know from the minute you got the cats. The two most
Is this the one
common
you're talking
ways that
about?
No, I put it in the Discord chat. That's close though. The two most common ways that cats die are tooth-related dental disease or kidney failure. So you need to make sure your cats
I
are
knew kidney
hydrated
failure.
and you brush their
Yes.
teeth.
Oh, I have never brushed my cat's teeth, and I have no intention to.
So I learned you can put basically sea kelp, dried sea kelp in their
Oh.
foods. They make
Yeah.
a special
We
thing.
have they call
The-
greenies. Yeah, sheets
Yeah,
or
it's
greenies. Yeah.
The iodine helps keep the plaque off their teeth, and there's also a liquid you can put in their water. So
This is the video. So your cat wants a massage.
Yes, and you need to.
This looks like it's from the 80s.
It is. This is why I'm shocked you.
Was
didn't
this a
see it.
TV show?
It
Oh
was a
my
public-
God.
There's great
That
sound
hair.
to it that can't be copyrighted.
This
It's
is-
got to have.
Muscles seen on proud bodybuilders. This is a really groovy move. Belly Rama.
So
Right after
this-
the
this
chin,
was-
chin, chin.
This was a VHS tape at one point.
It had to be.
Yeah.
I know nothing
right
else.
next to
but
Jane Fonda's workout, kitty cat massage.
It's fantastic. I'd really recommend
Right-handed, try
looking.
using your left and vice versa. Good for you. Use 2 hands to double your pleasure and double your fun.
Okay, that's enough. Thank you. I think we have a show title. German court is throwing the book at ad blockers. Now, you wouldn't think ad blockers would be controversial, but maybe in Germany.
I love the headline they chose for this. No more Blocktoberfest. German court throws books at ad blockers.
This is just always good at these. Apparently, the legal theory is it could violate copyright law
Oh,
Germany.
come on.
This, of course, comes from Axel Springer, the big German publisher, against AdBlock Plus maker IO, which is in
Axel
Germany.
Springer, which owns a number of sites that are highly dependent on advertising, such as Business Insider.
Yeah.
Politico is less dependent because of Political Pro, but I assume the other sites that Axel Springer owns in Germany are more advertising dependent.
They say the website code falls under the control of the German Copyright Act. So modifying the web page's DOM model or cascading style sheets represents copyright infringement. No. Okay. No. If I get a chance to talk to the judges, I will explain. I'm not modifying the code on their site. Their code is coming through loud and clear to my browser. And my browser, as it does all the time, is making decisions about how to display it. They don't control how my browser displays it. That would make reading mode a copyright violation. That would make it, me making it dark mode, a violation of copyright.
If you put that website in too wide of a screen, you're breaking the law.
My God, you have violated the copyright. This has got to be narrow. So the appellate court that initially heard that argument rejected it, but it's been sent back. This seems to me
he
ridiculous.
clicked inspect element.
No,
Arrest
inspecting
him.
of the elements. All right. Hey, you know what? Maybe Satya Nadella has been reading the Elon Musk manifesto. He says Microsoft has to move beyond Bill Gates' software factory vision. It's not a software factory. It's something better. It's about intelligence, integration, and AI.
They're really pivoting. They're putting all their money into this, you know.
AI.
AI.
Everything they're doing is a delivery system for AI, basically, or
Isn't
it
that
powers
interesting?
powering
Wow.
AI.
But that presumes that people want it.
I think,
I'm not convinced that that's the case.
yeah, but possibly. But I would say people. It was the same thing with the internet back in the day.
Yeah,
we were
people
all
want the
early
internet.
adopters
Right.
on the internet. We were all blown away by it. This is the coolest thing ever, and you couldn't tell people, like, you would explain it, and they're like, "What are you talking about? Like, that sounds stupid. Why would I want email?" But you know, the whole world changed around it, right? So I think it's going to happen no matter what. It's just who controls it at this point.
So, Paris, I can't let you go without getting an update on the radioactive shrimp.
Thank you for asking, Leo.
Paris's
So for
beat
those-
at Consumer Reports is food safety.
Yes, that's the 50% of it that is not tech. I'm falling deep into the food safety mines. I do a lot of actual investigations. I'm working on a larger thing that'll come out next month. But in the meantime, I've been keeping up to date with food recalls. And you may have heard about an unusual food recall that happened for the first time this week, which is it started with the FDA
Look, there's your
warning
byline.
consumers.
Is this your first byline on Consumer Reports?
It was technically a pear recall that had weird metal in it, but this is the most interesting.
Pears that weird metal in them. Okay.
Yeah,
This is
that was-
good. You're building up a
so
clipping library.
The
It's very
first
good.
one was Walmart recalls frozen shrimp for
Right.
possible radioactive
Has
contamination.
it gone beyond Walmart?
It has. Then the next day, more frozen shrimp were recalled, this time from a kind of middleman seller that had 5 different brands that they, in part of the recall announcement, couldn't really tell you what stores even this shrimp had been sold at or what.
Well, here's pictures.
Those are pictures of the brands
Yes.
that are specifically
So
there.
just
But
look for
they've
that in your
also-
freezer section
yeah.
of your local
And
grocery store.
To be clear, what's being recalled here is none of these shrimp, they know for sure, have a radioactive isotope in
Oh.
it. What happened was...
So go ahead and have some.
Go ahead and have some. It's fine. No, don't throw these out if you have them.
They're
or
contaminated
return them.
or they're not contaminated.
They are suspected to be potentially contaminated with
Oh.
the radioactive substance cesium-137, and that is a radioactive isotope that is created in nuclear fission. It's created in potentially like nuclear explosions or is associated with like nuclear energy processing. It's very confusing as to how this potentially got in shrimp. And it's been a story that has been occupying a lot of my mind to where I've developed several shrimpspiracies related
Oh,
to this.
you've got a shrimpspiracy.
So part of how this came about is because I was asking some of the people who've been working in food safety consumer reports for like 30 years. I was like, is it weird to have food be recalled for radioactive contamination possibly? And they're like, yeah, we've never seen this before. What happened was the like border control people at 4 different US ports flagged shipping containers coming from Indonesia for having radioactive contamination reading off them. Whenever ostensibly every single shipping container that comes into the US by sea is supposed to go through it's called a radiation portal monitor that checks it to see if there's radiation coming. That's supposed to happen to 100%. 4 containers alerted, and they were full of shrimp, and so they sent the FDA to come test some of them. In one of them, the breaded shrimp tested positive for low levels of this radiation.
Low levels. Not going to kill you levels.
Not going to kill you. Nothing like
Maybe
nothing
just
to panic
cause
about.
a lip cancer or something. Nothing.
I mean, it's not good to be exposed
Don't eat
to any
cesium.
level of
No.
like radiation. So that's part of the reason. And part of what struck me as odd initially is they said in the initial releases, at this time, no containers that have alerted or tested positive for radiation have been allowed into the US. But I'm like, well, if that's the case and you say you test all of these containers, then why are you recalling a bunch of shrimp? And from what I've gathered, it's because there are other containers from this supplier that have come into the US that they're unsure as to whether or not they were
didn't
tested.
test those.
So I did some digging because I was like, well, isn't 100% of it supposed to be tested? So my shrimpspiracy, and I'll preface this by saying like some of this is conjecture, is I looked through and there's been a number of reports from the Office of the Inspector General over the last couple of years about CPB and CWMD and them, these government agencies, that they basically, the radiation portal monitoring system isn't working as supposed to. In these heavily redacted documents that are now kind of available online.
See,
they
this
say,
is why
like,
Consumer Reports hired you, because
they
you're
say
getting to
in
the
it,
heart of the
they're
matter.
like, yeah, it seems like maybe the things that are supposed to check for radiation aren't really working all the
weren't
time.
turned
And
on.
because of that, they're either like false positives often, so people don't pay attention to them, or maybe they're just turned off often. So there seems to be a kind of a broader systemic issue. And my theory, again, this is just conjecture, is they had a couple of these containers alert. Then they went back through and saw, hey, where else is all the shrimp coming from? Have those containers been checked? And they maybe went through without being checked. So I think it kind of speaks to this broader issue we're seeing in the U.S. food supply chain that we don't entirely know what is in some of these containers.
This is an important beat for you, because we do know that they've fired inspectors, that the FDA is being hobbled. I think it's time to pay attention to this. There's one other thing, though, I would like an expose on. Mm-hmm. Your picture on the Consumer Reports website is just a little bit blurry.
Oh, why is it so blurry? That's so
I
funny.
have violated the copyright and modified the CSS. No, that's the way it came.
It's so funny. It looks clear on my website.
Yeah, because you have it at a normal, you don't zoom in.
I did zoom in, but
now when I
maybe-
zoom in, now it looks better. Oh, you know what? Maybe I got a bad shrimp. No,
Maybe you got a bad shrimp.
It's getting. Wait a minute. It gets fuzzy and then it gets clear. That's interesting.
It
Just
knows
that
you're
one
digging
size.
in
It's just that
you're
one
digging in
size.
too deep.
Just that one size. Okay, enough playing around with Barris's picture. Congratulations, by the way, on a great new job and keeping us
Thank
safe
you.
from the shrimp.
Yeah.
I am a little disappointed that this wasn't like an origin story where there was some kind of company dumping radioactive cans
Well,
in the
the thing
water
is,
and
we
the shrimp
don't know-
got to them.
We don't know
that's how Godzilla
where
starts.
the radioactive contamination came from, so that could still be true.
Could be
That's the thing
Godzilla.
it could be Godzilla.
Somewhere out there's
Originally-
a giant shrimp that's about to come ashore.
A giant
have it.
shrimp.
The good news
with-
is they can't
that
walk.
Shrimp
They don't
Jesus,
have legs.
the AI
so.
shrimp Jesus is
they
real,
do
and
have
he's
legs.
coming for you.
So
I will save this one, Nick, 30 for intelligent machines. This is a site that you put in here. Welcome to the life of Nick, 30. You and your girlfriend want to settle down, start a family. You need to save £100,000 for a house deposit within 5 years. Good luck. And then what is this? You're going to invest? You're going to run their life?
Do you
What is
want to do
this?
it now? You can play the Nick simulator. You have to try and play Nick 30.
I'm not going to do it now because it's time to wrap it up. But let's do this on Wednesday.
Listen, we'll see. It's very difficult to win Nick Simulator. Some people are saying it's the hardest game since Dark
Who
Souls.
did this?
We're gonna have to wait and see on Intelligent Machines on Wednesday.
Is it British Values Week at work? What do? Take in a Union Jack. You get odd looks. Patriotism.
I like that you said, "Oh, I'm not going to play it," and it's different every time you play. I just got pavement clutter ban. The council votes to ban pavement clutter. Your bike rack is removed. Walk more or take the bus. I'm going to walk more
It's good
because I
for
want
you.
to save money. It's free at least. Your carbon footprint sheet.
You spend a fortune on designer croissants. Okay, so I get it. You're playing a game and you're trying to save money, and you can see your progress here, your expenses. I lost 300 pounds going to that conference in Lyon. All right. Okay. This looks like fun. We will play this game, but
We shall.
Wednesday on Intelligent Machines when Paris returns. Daniel Rubino, projectionist extraordinaire. What is the projectionist union? Which union is that?
Oh, it was IATSE.
Oh, it's IATSE. Oh, that's also the
Yeah.
Stagehands Union.
Yes. In fact, I got to work an Aerosmith Kiss concert in Long Island because of it.
Nice.
And I saw Paul Stanley pass me in the hallway. I was just going up the stairs. I was like,
The little guy, the little one.
yeah.
Wow, that's cool. What were you doing, projection there, or you just were there as a grip?
No, breaking down the stages.
Oh, you roadie. Yeah.
Yeah, that sucked. But it was a good experience, I guess.
Hard work. Hard
Yeah.
work. Well, Daniel, now that we know this, you're going to get interrogated more about this, and I'm going to scan through your entire Flickr collection looking for more projection pictures.
Go for it.
But people should probably go to Windows Central, where he is editors-in-chief, windowscentral.com. Listen to the Windows Central podcast, where you hear Daniel every week, and follow him on the socials as Daniel_Rubino. Thank you so much, Daniel. Always a pleasure to see you. Really appreciate
Same.
it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for not taking a vacation in August like everybody else.
I'll always be around in August. Don't worry.
Good. I like it. That's what I like. Paris Martineau, we don't let her out of the house because we need her for Intelligent Machines every
I have
Wednesday.
to stay within 15 feet of this computer or I get an electric shock.
Yes. Consumer Reports has wired it up that way. They've given her, though, all the thumbtacks and red thread she can use to build those conspiracy wall montages. And I think she's working on it right now. Stay tuned for more on Shrimpgate.
Stay tuned. I'm on it. You're a shrimp and you know what's going on.
Yeah.
My signal is out there.
Contact hand signal.
Thank you for not going to Burning Man this year. We appreciate it.
I couldn't risk getting lost in the dust when important news is going on.
No, that's right. Although there could be radioactive shrimp at Burning. Who's
Someone
going to
posted
cover
a photo
that
of a shrimp with a gun in the Discord chat, and I really enjoy that.
right under the there it is.
I'm really
Careful.
angling to make the show title "Shrimp with a Gun." I don't know if we're allowed to do that.
I don't know if shrimp with a gun's going to make it, but we'll try. Shrimp with a radioactive bullet, maybe. Thank you all for joining us. A special thanks to our Club Twit members who put all those silly things in the Club Twit Discord and also support us with their donations, their contribution to the club. $10 a month gets you ad-free versions of all the shows we do, plus a bunch of extra stuff that we do inside the Discord. We have special events. We did the Made by Google event in the Discord. Coming up on Monday, September 1st, Paris, Jeff, and I will interview the author of a new book about AI, Karen Howe, the author of Empire of AI. That'll be a very interesting interview. You'll get to hear it first. right here as a club member. Of course, Chris Marquardt's a photo guy. Will join us. His assignment this month is Delightful. That's the name of it. And we're going to talk about local AI, plus using the Nathan server. Anthony's been all over that one. That's coming up. These are all events that happen in the club. Plus, you get video from the shows like Hands on Windows, Hands on Apple, Home Theater Geeks, that we normally just put out as audio. There's just a whole lot of reasons to join. But the best reason is, without you, we wouldn't be the same. 25% of our operating costs comes from our great, generous club members. So thank you for your donations. And thanks to all of you who are thinking about joining. Please go to twit.tv/clubtwit. We'd love to have you. We do This Week in Tech every Sunday afternoon, 2 to 5 p.m. Pacific, 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. We stream it live in 8 different places. Club Twit, of course, gets the access in the Discord behind the velvet rope, the special premium access. But you can also watch on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, X.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Kick. Plenty of places to catch the show. You don't have to watch it live, though. You can always download a copy from our website, twit.tv. There's a YouTube channel dedicated to the video. We have audio and video on our website. Or subscribe to audio or video or both in your favorite podcast client. Leave us a great review, and we will be very, very thankful to you. We appreciate the support. Glad you're here. 20 years we've been doing this. I'm hoping for 20 more. And as I've said for the past 20 years, thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Another Twit is in the can. Bye-bye, everyone.
It's amazing.